Welcome to NFL Pub Hub Conference Championship Edition. There is so much on the line today. We have 9 cappers joining us for today's NFL Pub Hub, and then we go right into our huge live bet stream. So there'll be one live bet stream for both of the games. It is great to see all of you guys. I can tell how pumped up everybody is in the chat. Justin McElvey, Lamont Williams, Miles Johnson on Tyler Boyd, anytime TD. There's Shy Archie in the house. Ron Walsek says 49ers Bengals Super Bowl. Let's do it for Jimmy Hella. I don't know. Man, so much on the line. There is Jay. Good morning, Jay. Spenny Penny Bombs with his action. Going to copy and paste that right now. Spenny Penny Bombs sharing his action with us. He's been spectacular this year. He's not able to make the NFL Pub-Up this morning, so he's making sure he's got his plays in. He's San Francisco +3 at -115, and the money line at +130. 6-point teaser parlay, San Francisco +8.5, and the over 40.5. Cincinnati +7.5, under 54.5. That's +224. And he's locked in with Bengals futures. So he is playing KC to win margin +300, KC to win 7-12, +475. So 1-6 and 7-12. Viper NB in the house, and there's Spenny's player props as well that he is sharing with us. Let me get that here so we can discuss them as well. Christian McCaffrey over 4.5 receptions at +102, over 32.5 receiving yards at -110. Kittle over 45.5 receiving yards, -110. Devonta Smith over 5.5 receptions at +115. And then he's going to have more coming here for the Bengals Chiefs. This is exciting. What a day we have ahead of us. And thank you for sharing your hard work with us, Spenny. He's got Mixon over 22.5 receiving yards, -110. So he's got McCaffrey in the first game over receiving yards, Mixon in the late game. Boyd over 33.5 receiving yards. That goes with Miles Johnson's look on Tyler Boyd anytime TD. Pacheco over 48.5 rush yards. Mahomes over half interception. That is Spenny Penny Bombs action. Troy Torrance says, I basically have 80% of my bankroll on the Eagles today, most of which is on the money line -120. That's a very dangerous proposition, Troy Torrance, but I can understand why you have that confidence in the Eagles. Rocco Rogers, we got Namaste Jay in the house. Namaste Jay ready to get to work. Bo Jackson, Jay Frost is taking Eagles on the alternate line -6.5. Ooh, there is the nuke worker says, had the snow blower out for the second time in 3 days. We good now? Let's go. Yeah, okay. Oh, man. Oh, and there's the anytime touchdowns from Spenny as well. Let's get those ready. Spenny will be joining us for the late game live bet stream. Miles Johnson also interested in that -6.5 that Jay Frost is talking about. There's Chief Wiggum, Eric Swiatek. Oh, I love Eric. OG. Jerbacca ready to go. Great to have you rocking with us. Jerbacca42 says, good to see you. A long-time lowbagger here. I love it. There is Sky Dragon says, finally, you guys are live. My Niners chat is utterly annoying. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Great to see you all guys. Maximilian, Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast. We got Harold Williams, Professor Chris. What a great group. Great group we have here. Alex Hills ready to get to work. Brandon the Great. Good in the house. There's LJ from H-Town. So let's discuss this show. Jose Bouquet will be our first guest. He made an appearance in week 11, and it didn't go well. Week 11, it didn't go well on his appearance here on the show, but he had a great season this year. Came fourth in the Cappers contest and was solid all season long. So great opportunity for a bounce back spot for Jose. So he's going to hit lead off here in our conference championship show. Then Bobano will be joining us. LJ from H-Town, Mr. Gogster, Peter Loshak, Billy Brisbane, Big Ragu, Sharpie, and CMAC. So we are locked and loaded. There is our guy Jose in the chat right now talking about Pub-Palooza 2, March 24th to 26th. I'm getting in on the 23rd, leaving on the 27th. So I'm all locked in for Texas. Thank you for mentioning that here. All right. So then, just to give you an idea of tonight, the 49ers Eagles game will have Brizzy, LJ, and Dave, picks from Dave Rogers. At halftime, Babano and Sharpie will be joining us. Then we have a whole new crew for the night game. CMAC, Big Ragu, and Spenny Penny Bombs will be there for the whole game. And Mr. Gogster and Sharpie will be joining us at halftime. All right. Woo! Huge day of football. Let's set the table for both games. First off, as you can see, I'm on the under 47. I got in Cincinnati, KC. I got that on Tuesday night, and that was a mistake. It was a poorly. I handled the Mahomes injury poorly, and that's not the first time this year where I handled a quarterback injury news poorly. We'll talk about that when that game comes up. We're going to start with San Francisco, Philadelphia on the under 46. Even that I handled poorly. The under 46.5 was widely available. I don't know why I was just sort of a deer in the headlights or a moose in the headlights if you're Canadian, because I should have moved on the 46.5. At least I got in on the 46s. We'll talk about that. Total has dropped to 45. There's Nate Dogg 420, North Ender, PG 00187, Paper Chaser, aka Imp 13, Joe Ortner. Smith Legacy in the house as well. And Jay has the 49ers. I love seeing that. Okay, so and Professor Chris says, I hate to say I'm on the over in that one. Well, you know what? We saw the first week all the games go over except for the Buccaneers game, which should have gone over. 4 missed converts. And then last week we saw all the games go under. So it's okay if you want to trust your own capping in this situation. Okay, there's Lee Davis in the house. Let's talk about the first game. I'm going to set the table for each of the two games and then not do it again. So we'll just let our stars of the show come in and deliver the goods here. 3 p.m. Eastern. Whew. God, I can't. I have been thinking about this game for every second of my thoughts for the last little while. I'm so excited. San Francisco 49ers 15-4, 5-3 on the road at Philadelphia Eagles, 15-3, 8-2 at home. We're at Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 50 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 10 miles per hour. The Eagles are a healthy group, man. They're a healthy group. We know that Lane Johnson's been dealing with the adductor, but he looked spectacular last week. So they're a healthy group. Avonte Maddox with the toe, practiced in full on Friday. No injury designation. This is a healthy group at home, a very confident, healthy group at home. For the Niners, Elijah Mitchell came up on the injury report with a groin injury, and Ambry Thomas still dealing with the ankle. Now, let's go to the line history here for this one, and we're going to use Pinnacle as our book. This opened up with the Eagles -2 at -114. It's now 2.5 at -112. Now, this 2.5 this morning got up to -119, and you saw a bunch of threes on the board. Since it got to -119, there has been some buyback on the Niners. From a totals perspective, this opened up at 45.5, -111 to the under. It's now at -107 to the under. Oh, man. Billy Brisbane said, Purdy going down today. They got Jersey burning by the hundreds in the parking lot of the Link right now. Smith Legacy says 49ers run game much trickier. All right, let's discuss this. Gerald Jones is on the under as well. Start with the Niners. They've won 12 straight football games and have covered the spread in 9 of 10. The offense struggled against the Cowboys. That was the best defense that Purdy has faced. It is fair to say that the Eagles' defense is even better. The 49ers are 9-3 versus top 10 offenses since the 2021 season, and their defense is very strong. They allowed scores on 26% of opponents' drives this season. That was the best in the NFL. The league average was 36. They allowed 16.4 points per game. And this pass rush that is dynamite with Bosa and 6'7" Eric Armstead will be going up against an Eagles offensive line that is, I want to say, spectacular. Center Jason Kelsey and right tackle Lane Johnson, first-team All-Pros, are very tough to move on. This offensive line, 89.9 pass blocking efficiency. They allowed 11 sacks this year. The San Francisco 49ers pass rush is strong, but it's not the strongest in the league. Their pass rush win rate is ranked 5th in the league. Their Pro Football Focus pass rush grade is also ranked 5th, and the 11.6 quarterback knockdown rate is ranked 6th. And it is imperative to get pressure on Hurts. Imperative. He's ranked 20th in passer rating at 65.2 and 28th in his completion rating at 43.9% when he's pressured this season. Now, one thing that we are dealing with, which probably helps the 49ers here, is the betting public has a recency bias after watching the Eagles destroy the Giants, and the 49ers underwhelm getting past the Cowboys. The Eagles will find it much more difficult to run on the 49ers than they've had in recent games, especially the Giants game. They have to find success through the air, and that's a legitimate possibility for the Eagles to beat the Niners through the air. The 49ers averaged 185.9 receiving yards per game allowed to wide receivers in the last 8 weeks of the regular season. That was 4th worst in the NFL, while the Eagles wide receivers had 210.4 receiving yards per game in the last 8 weeks of the regular season, which is 2nd best in the NFL. The Eagles rank 1st in the league in yards per pass attempt at 8.1. They should be able to exploit the lone weakness in the 49ers defense, which is the secondary. There's certain angles to look at. One, and maybe it's a mistake to talk about it, but in 21-22, the Eagles were 0-6 versus top 10 pass offenses, that year. This squad has much better stats, but personnel-wise, they aren't that different this year. The defense, though, has been spectacularly strong in their pass rush. They sacked opposing quarterbacks on 11% of their pass attempts this season, the best in the NFL by far. Sacked opponents 70 times, best in the NFL. They lead the NFL in opponents' yards per play, opponents' yards per pass attempt, and sack percentage. This Eagles team is the complete package. I'm not getting around that, and I won't get past that. They had the 8th best scoring defense, but ranked 2nd in yards allowed, combined with the number 3 scoring offense from the regular season. Now, they're not that strong against the run, and the 49ers will have to hit them there. 4.6 yards per carry they allowed. That's 26th in the league. In their last 16 home playoff games, the under has hit in 12 of them. The 49ers have played 7 straight road playoff games to the under. I am on the under 46. As you guys know, I have the 49ers to win the NFC at plus 750 and to win the Super Bowl at plus 1,500. The 49ers are a really good team. The Eagles are a great team. Now, we've seen really good teams beat great teams on the road before. The 49ers need a lead. If they play from behind, they're in big trouble. If they ask Purdy to do too much, they are in big trouble. But the 49ers can win here. But, of course, the more likely outcome is the Eagles win at the Link. Woo! That is the 49ers-Eagles game. Now, as you know, I have futures on the 49ers and the Bengals, so I put in a money line parlay on Philadelphia and Kansas City to more than cover my action or my bets and to put me in a great spot regardless of what happens. That is the game 1. We are going to have 9 different cappers talk about that game, and then they're going to talk about the second game. I'm going to set the table here for that second game, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, the AFC Championship game. Now, I didn't tell you guys the cash flow, and I will do that when I bring on Jose. I'll talk about the cash for both of the games just to introduce and set it up for Jose. Gerald Jones says BetMGM is San Francisco +3. There's a lot of +3s available right now. AFC Championship game, Cincinnati Bengals 14-4, 7-3 on the road at the Chiefs, 15-3, 8-1 at home, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. It's cold in Kansas City, 19 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 11 miles per hour. The whole week we were talking about Mahomes and the high ankle sprain. He looks good to go by all accounts, and he's not even on the injury report. Jerick McKinnon and Willie Gay. Jerick McKinnon had the ankle injury, and Willie Gay Jr. had the toe injury. They are also not on the injury report. The only people on it are McCole Hardman and Justin Watson. And then Travis Kelce popped up on the injury report with a back issue. We know the kind of player Kelce is. There's just simply no way. There's simply no way that Kelce's not going to be in the lineup. Hayden Hurst on the other side for the Bengals was added to the injury report late. He said that, he will be in. He's dealing with a calf injury, but he's in 100%. The offensive linemen, Kappa and Jonah Williams, are both ruled out again. So we'll see Carmen and Sharping. And we heard some very interesting analysis from Andy Molitor discussing how there was a big benefit to these offensive linemen that there was snow on the field against Buffalo, and that it really helps the offensive linemen when there's snow, because the defensive ends and the pass rush can't get that quick twitch and the quick ability to beat you. We'll see if they come back to earth here against this, very tough Chiefs pass rush. And I say tough because they have 7 players that have 3.5 sacks or more. Coin says have a future on Cincinnati 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. Have some concern about the Bengals today. The Bengals have won a franchise record 10 straight games. They're 5-0 in their last 5 road games, 5-0 against the spread. They just dominated the Bills in Buffalo. The offense put up 412 total yards and 30 first downs. The 30 first downs is the most the Bills have allowed since last year's AFC championship game. Joe Cool was in complete control. He's 3-0 versus Mahomes, but calling the stadium Burrowhead is not good. And I know he didn't do it, but it's not good. You don't want to give the Chiefs even more motivation. The Chiefs don't play in that dog role. They're never the dog. They're always the favorite. Let's not put them in that role of the dog. At least that's what they feel like right now. Don't give teams more motivation. Now, if you study the Bengals' general stats, they are an average football team, but they're clearly more than the sum of their parts. 14th in the NFL in yards per play, 16th in opponents' yards per play. Look, the Chiefs are 1st and 9th in those 2 categories. But we said the same thing about the Bills. The Bengals' 23rd ranked defense in terms of passing yards allowed. Well, that's not good. That's not good against this Chiefs team that can move the ball through the air very easily. 20th ranked defense in terms of third down efficiency. But I just saw this defense shut the Bills down in Buffalo. The Chiefs are number 1 in the NFL with 413.6 total yards per game. Number 1 in the NFL with 29.2 points per contest. The pass offense, 297.8 yards per game, easily the best in the league. 48.7 third down conversion rate, second best in the league. Bills were number 1. Number 1 in the NFL, averaging 6.4 yards per game. Number 1 in red zone offense. What will Mahomes' mobility look like 1 week after the high ankle sprain? Chiefs are making their 5th straight appearance in the AFC Championship game. Drake has bet $1.1 million on the Chiefs. Does that give you more confidence? Because that gives me more confidence in the Bengals. I think this game will be different from last year's high-scoring AFC Championship game. I think this will be a plodding chess match. I really do, and I'm on the under. All right. And Sky Dragon says Mahomes, Reed are better than Allen and McDermott, and you are right. Jerbacka says Mahomes will be a machine today. There's no reason why he won't be. I'm on the under in both football games. And I can't fucking wait for today. We have 9 guests joining us. I will not be setting any more tables, but I will talk the cash and the spread when I introduce our first guest. He is the producer of this show and a great capper himself. 4th in the cappers contest here at Pub Sports Radio. Yes, he had 1 bad week here. And look, we judge that harshly here. I only tried to put on the winners. So we haven't seen him since, but I'm happy he's making another appearance. Please welcome to the show from San Antonio, Texas, Jose Bouquet. Jose,
I don't claim this place, Jimmy. I don't claim this place. From Venezuela, please. Thank you.
Sure. No, I respect that. I respect that. And too bad Acuna Jr.'s family got harassed and beaten up in the stands. But let's not talk about it. Let's get to work here. Let's get to work here. Here we go. We start with the Eagles Niners. Andy Molitor gave us the Eagles -2.5 at -108 in Gridiron Gamblers. I'm on the under 46. We talked about the line history here already, but we didn't talk cash. Let's talk cash right now. Sports Insights has given the Philadelphia Eagles at this number full line value. 388,178 tickets in, 65% of the tickets and 86% of the cash is on the Philadelphia Eagles. That was 91% of the cash about 48 hours ago. Total-wise, 53% of the tickets are on the under and 65% of the cash is on the under. Jose Bouquet, how are you betting the NFC Championship game?
Okay. First of all, do you want my random nonsense before or after?
You can make these decisions, my friend, on your own.
Okay, fair enough. I'll do it after. So this line's bounced back and forth. I've seen the 3, you've seen 2.5. It kind of just depends on where you're going. And it's very interesting, this game, because I've seen a lot of people on the under. You're on the under. Unders went 4-0. What was it?
Yeah.
how long are this hunger streak going to last is my question. You're on them again this week, which concerns me because I like the over here. I'm going to move on the over officially in this game. I think side-wise, this game's just fucking tough. And I'll give you guys a side, obviously. I'll just throw it out there. But I think we do see offense from both of these squads here. And then obviously, I don't know if we can consider Nick Sirianni an offensive coach, but he's had a great offense, and people are saying they're the best rushing attack of all time, et cetera, et cetera. Jalen Hurts, thank you to Lincoln Riley for making him an actual quarterback. He can throw the ball now, but at the end of the day, I just think that we can see both these offenses go off for, I don't know, like at least 20 points each. And, I think we can just find the 5 points here and there in the margins as well. So I honestly gunned ahead picking my side here. I'm taking the Eagles. I had them in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. It is, I guess, just a Brock Purdy factor as well. First tough road game going into Philadelphia, super hard thing. The defensive line has been phenomenal for the Eagles, et cetera, et cetera. I just really expect the 49ers of Mike Shanahan, and I trust Mike Shanahan a lot more than I do the Eagles, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant. I don't want to give a side out for officially on the plays here, but the over for sure is just ultimately I think Nick Sirianni, if they lose this game, it's going to be a matter of him getting out coached by Shanahan. And I think Shanahan will run the ball a shitload here to really prove if the Eagles can stop the run, and that will decide the game here. If they don't, 49ers win this game, but I do see points in this game. Shout out to the Great White Hope, Christian McCaffrey as well, but I'm on the over in this game.
Over 45 at -108 for Jose Bouquet here. And he also likes the Eagles, but he's not making it official. And tongue-tied mentioning the 0-5 record. Look, there's no shame in having one bad week.
It was a tough week. Hey, I was a really tough week. I remember that same week I went like 0 and whatever in like baseball or something like that. It was a tough week for sure, but I appreciate Jim. He brought out the best cappers on the year, and he also brought on the worst capper of the year too. So that's how we get the full spectrum of the Pub Hub record, but I love it.
You are not the worst capper. That 0-5 -5.27 units. You are comfortably out of the cellar there. That is another capper. And Tongue Tied says, just pulling your leg. Look, he came 4th in the cappers contest. Yeah. He's a hell of a capper.
I'm one fucking fat thumb away from finishing in 2nd, but I have stupid fingers.
Let's move on to the AFC Championship game. We'll let Justin McElvey lead us into this. Jose, the first of 9 guests we are having on today's Conference Championship NFL Pub Hub. Cincinnati Bengals 14-4, 7-3 on the road. Chiefs 15-3, 8-1 at home at Arrowhead. Again, very cold, 19 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 11 mile per hour winds. Line history in this one, it's been wild. And the best way is to talk about it with the money line, not the spread as much. The money line's been wild. This got up to, even at Pinnacle, this got up to plus 121 for the Chiefs when we weren't sure what Mahomes' high ankle sprain would look like. A lot of people saw Tony Romo talking about how when he had a high ankle sprain, the adrenaline's fine for that finish off the game, but by Wednesday he'll be on crutches. Now we're at minus 132. The Chiefs are getting hit. They're getting bet hard. Totals wise, this opened up at 48 and it dripped down to 46.5 when the Mahomes issues came up. Then it got all the way up to 48.5, but it's still sitting at 48 right now. Cash wise here, they've given slight line value to the Chiefs, 306,018 tickets in, 31% of the tickets, 51% of the cash on the Chiefs. Then you have 31% of tickets, 55% of the cash on the under. I wish I got 48.5. I wish I got 48. I do believe this game goes under. Jose Bouquet, AFC Championship. What's your move?
I've seen a lot of Bengals fans or a lot of Bengals supporters here. And maybe I'm just a big dumb idiot, but I watched that Patrick Mahomes press conference earlier the week. I saw how focused he was, no limp. I think he's good to go, and I think he wins this game. I think the Chiefs win this. I'll take them with the minus 1.5 because the minus 130 money line kind of juicy for me here. And really, I don't like going against the Bengals and Burrow. I really enjoy Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I love their whole squad. Lou Anarumo, a great defensive coordinator, probably the best defensive coordinator in the league. maybe D'Amico Ryans has something to say about that, but he's a head coach coming soon, so we'll see. But I just think the Chiefs win this game, and probably the smarter play would be Chiefs first half, and I think that will be my official play here, because we've seen this matchup 3 times now, and I've got a Chiefs fan as a best friend, and he knows that the Bengals are like the Chiefs' kryptonite and everything. But this game goes the same way every time. It's Bengals come out, they hit them hard, and the Chiefs' second half adjust, or the Bengals' second half adjustments lock it down. They don't score in the second half, and the Bengals just kind of take over somehow. So I really think the Chiefs win this game. But for my safety and my sanity, I'll take Chiefs first half, whatever the best number is. I'm sure it's close to like a -0.5. Maybe a money line might be even bettable too. But I just ultimately, at the end of the day, I believe in Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to be healthy enough. The running game is very, very important for the Chiefs now, because they actually have one. And I'll say this. I said that Oklahoma never has any good products in the NFL when CeeDee Lamb was finally doing his thing, and then Creed Humphreys and Trent Williams, all my friends shot me down immediately. I'm just a hater. But I just think the offensive line for the Chiefs is just so much better now than it has been. Creed Humphreys in his second year is really good. They just solidified it. And the thing is, my last point here is Mahomes and that ankle. I've heard other people say, maybe this is bullshit, whatever. But if you're a quarterback or if an offensive lineman per se, these high ankle sprains don't affect you as badly as if you were like a receiver or a running back, for example, because we're not seeing Mahomes juking left and right, and if the Bengals keep him in the pocket, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If they blitz him, he's going to find his guy because he's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. Now, obviously, the running helps in that aspect, but I think Mahomes is just going to be healthy enough to do his thing, and I think the Chiefs end up winning this game. So I expect to hear a lot of Bengals today, and I'm not going to be dissuaded by it. I made my selection earlier this week. It's a Chiefs game, and I think we've got a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, and it'll be interesting to watch. You're muted currently.
Sorry, I hope that's not the case, Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. I pray that's not the case, but it could very much be the case. And I did cover myself on the money line parlay if that happens. So worst case scenario is not too hurtful. There's a big difference between the first half -0.5 and the first half money line. First half -0.5, you can get an even money plus 100. First half money line for the Chiefs -120 is the best line we can find. Which would you like?
I'll be safe and I'll just take the -120.
All right. Chiefs first half -120 for Jose Bouquet. Jose, great breakdown. Great to have you back in action. Great to have all these great cappers in the chat as well. Jose, I know that you'll be with us at times throughout the live bet stream, and you'll be with us as always, working so hard behind the scenes. So great breakdowns, and I guess all I can say is I hope you lose both of your bets. They go against what I want to happen, but I love you dearly, and great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Of the 0-5 record, it speaks for itself. So maybe I will go a crisp 0-7. Who knows? My last bit of random nonsense here before we shove the ball to Bobano here. Pubapalooza 2, March 24th to the 26th. Again, sign up for the damn events. The thing is tweeted or pinned on the comments right now. Sign up for the damn events. And I'll say this. I think I might get a tattoo during Pubapalooza. So come on by and see that random nonsense. I already have kind of what I want. And guess what? Of course, it is Red Sox related. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
There he is, Jose Bouquet, joining us here. All right. Rapid fire guests now, 8 more guests to come. And I want to thank you guys all so much for supporting this show all year long. We got Rance, Brooklyn Funk Project, Brandon the Great, Nate Dogg, AOD, Lucas Ryan, Stimmy OG, K Diggs, Joe Ortner, Professor Chris, MDR 24, just so many, Jesse Nunez. Thank you guys, Jags 8787, and thank you for your support here. Let's go. Your second guest of the show has been simply spectacular this year. 90-61. The man has given out 151 picks on this show, and he's not been on every week. This is But as soon as he took the lead, we always put the person who's in first overall on the show throughout, plus 23.1 units, and he's here to rock with us right now. He will also be joining us at halftime of the live bet stream for this NFC battle that pops off at 3 p.m. Eastern. Please welcome to the show our leader this year at NFL Pub Hub. Will the trophy at Pubapalooza have his name on it? Please welcome Ian Cameron to the show. Bobano, how are you?
I sure hope so. It's going to be the choke of a lifetime if it isn't. But nevertheless, good to be with you, Jimmy.
It is great to be with you, my friend. You have been excellent this year. Your winning streak, though, was not just a winning streak. You had gone up at least 2.64 units in 5 straight weeks. You were up about 18 units over 5 weeks. You went 2 and 3 down 1.14 units last week. And I can't wait to see how you handle the action here. The table has been set. We just need to hear your angles. Take it away, NFC Championship, 49ers, Eagles.
All right, so let's start with we're going to get some props into the equation this week for the very first time, because obviously when it's a full regular season card, and I'm primarily a sides and totals guy. I don't do as many props in the regular season. I do a bunch, but not as many. And in the playoffs, I do more. I've only got the 2 games, so we're going to mix in some props as well with the card here today. For this game, I have the Bengals and the Eagles futures to win their conferences. And it's an incredible thing that I've got here coming into today where, if it's a Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl, we're going to win Bengals 12-1 to win the AFC, Eagles 14-1 to win the NFC. So personally, I bet San Francisco and Kansas City money line, to get some kind of hedge there. But so I'm actually staying off the sides in both games. If I were to bet them, I'd stick with Cincinnati. I'd stick with Philly because I think they're both going to win. I like them in both in a teaser, personally. The both dogs, I mean. But if it was the Bengals as a dog now, I'd say tease the Bengals up, which they are. But if it was the Chiefs as a dog, I'd say tease the Chiefs up. But either way, I think a 6-point teaser with the 2 dogs makes sense. I don't think there's a blowout game in either of these 2 games. I think they are both competitive. But I do think the Bengals and the Eagles both win. I do have the over in this game as an official play. Jimmy, we will go ahead with that, especially now that's dropping a little bit. And I know it was an under week last week, but you talk about 44.5 with this total. I think there's going to be enough explosiveness here from both sides. I think San Fran can run the football a little bit against Philly. I think it actually might have been more difficult for them to run the football last week compared to this week. We'll see, but I think there's going to be some opportunity there. I think if you're Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't need me to tell him this, but we know the pass rush and the front 7 is stiff with Philly like it was for Dallas last week. I think Brock Purdy's going to have to be a little bit more elusive, use his legs a little bit, which leads perfectly into one of my props that I've got coming up for this game. But I think San Francisco can move the ball a little bit. I think Philadelphia is going to throw the ball a lot more than run it. And when you're betting totals, that's significant. You want to see teams putting the ball up in the air more than running the football. And I think they realize they've got an advantage there. That's secondary for the Niners. If there's one area of their defense you're still a little bit hesitant on to say they're great, that would be it, the secondary. And you've got to match up against Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. They've not done well either against number 1 receivers this year, the Niners secondary. So A.J. Brown in particular, who, we've seen him have some massive days. He might be able to make some big plays down the field with Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert, don't rule him out either. He had a very good game last week in the win against the Giants in the divisional round. I think it's more of a pass-heavy approach today for Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles. So over 44.5, minus 110 at Bet Victor is what we're going to lock in here right now. Over 44.5, minus 110 at Bet Victor for the total in this game. For the props that I'm going to go with for official plays, I'm going to go with Brock Purdy, San Francisco over 8.5 rushing yards, minus 110, Bet 365. I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, we only need 9 yards. I think he's going to get flushed out of the pocket. I don't know if if there's going to be time for the routes to develop down the field as much for the Niners. And I think you're going to have to see Brock scramble a little bit. So I like that over 8.5 rushing yards for Brock Purdy in this game. A couple of reception props that I like. I like Kittle, but I don't like the juice on Kittle. It's pretty high. I laid $1.60 on his over 3.5 receptions. I won't make that official. It's just a little too juicy for me. Let's see what else we got. Oh, you know one I like that I'm going to make official too? Total sacks over 5.5 plus 100. Bet 365. Now this is total sacks for both teams combined. Doesn't matter who has the sacks. I think you're going to see that in this game with both pass rushes and what they can do. So over 5.5 sacks plus 100. I like that in this one. And
sorry, that was 5.5 at plus 100.
Yeah, total sacks over 5.5 plus 100.
And was the Purdy over 8.5 rush yards at minus 110?
Correct. Those two, and I think I'm going to add one more. And I've been on the fence with this one, but I think I'm going to go ahead with it here. I'm going to go ahead with two. In fact, two more official looks here in this one. I'm going to go with Kenneth Gainwell for Philadelphia over 21.5 rushing and receiving yards minus 114. I actually think they're starting to use him. I wouldn't say almost as much as Miles Sanders, but the gap is closing between how they use Sanders and how they use Ken Gainwell. I think Kenneth Gainwell is becoming more and more usage is going up for him. We saw that in the last few games for the Eagles. Over 21.5 rushing and receiving yards, I think is a good prop there, minus 114 on Kenneth Gainwell. And I'm going to go with 3 touchdown props in this game, and that'll wrap it up. Jalen Hurts plus 130, bet 365. A.J. Brown plus 145, FanDuel. And George Kittle plus 220 at bet 365. So there you go. 3 touchdown props for the game as well.
George Kittle plus 220, Hurts plus 130. What was A.J. Brown?
Plus 145.
Plus 145. And there's some confusion. Did you? I thought it was. You said Purdy will get 9 rush yards. Is it 8.5 or 6.5? The
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah,
okay.
8.5 rushing yards. Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Great stuff. Now the Gainwell thing makes me nervous just because I stopped playing props. I was not successful with it, but so maybe it doesn't matter what I say. But I would never go back to the well after a season-defining performance. That always made me extremely nervous. But he sure looked excellent, last week. And he was a quarterback in college. Like he's a wise football player. He's just a smart guy, and it's hard to believe that teams could have got him for a cup of coffee when we watch his intellect on the field. Bobano is on the over 44.5 in Niners Eagles. Purdy over 8.5 rush yards at minus 110. Total sacks over 5.5 at even money. Gainwell over 21.5 rush and receiving at minus 114. And anytime touchdown, Hurts plus 130, Brown plus 145, and Kittle plus 220. I love it. That's really fun. Great breakdown. Bobano, we move on to, and Bobano will be joining us at halftime here of Niners Eagles. Bobano, we move on to Bengals Chiefs AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium. It is cold. Sharps are on the Chiefs, and the spread keeps growing. And the total has gone up as high as 48.5, and now it's dropped to 48. It was as low as 46.5 when the Mahomes injuries were on. Let's hear what Bobano has to say, our leader in NFL Pub Hub for most of the year, where it has to be 75% of the season. He's held on to this title. Take it away for us, Bobano. Floor is yours. Bengals, Chiefs, AFC Championship.
Over 47.5, minus 110. That's the official side or total for me in this game. Again, I got Bengals and Eagles futures, so I'm rooting like hell for Cincinnati and Philadelphia to win today. I've got hedges on Kansas City and San Francisco, but I don't necessarily think either is going to win. So I'm just doing that because it's financially beneficial for me to do that. So that's why I'm staying off sides both games here today, personally. So over 4. Again, I just think with these two teams, I think with Mahomes, he's not going to be able to run nearly as much with that ankle. I think he can still throw the ball relatively well. I mean, when he played through and gutted through the game against Jacksonville last week, we saw him make some plays in the passing game. And, the Bengals O-line, all we heard last week against Buffalo is all the trouble they had with Jonah Williams out and Kappa out. And, of course, Collins had been out for weeks with the torn ACL. 3 starters, key starters, and all they did was just run roughshod over Buffalo. Now, against Kansas City, can they do that? That remains the big question. But obviously, and what's funny is that Pro Football Focus, some of these advanced metric football sites, Some of them say that was one of the best graded offensive line performances of the entire season for the Bengals. Think about that. And they were down 3 starters, even over some of the performances they had with their starting O-line intact. So it was just really remarkable to see that. So with this total falling the way it did, 47.5, I think there's enough room for points in this game. Again, a 28-21 is an over. That's 49. And that's the kind of score I see in this game. Like, we don't need something like 35-31. 28-24, 28-21 will get the job done. 24-24. If both teams get to that 24 number, you're going to get over the number. I think that's doable in this game. As for props in this game, there are a couple I like that will make official plays as well. We're going to rock with, in this game, let's start with this one I like quite a bit. It's Joe Mixon for Cincinnati over 21.5 receiving yards, a -110 at a Bet365. Great prop, I think. I think he's going to be used a lot, in the short passing game. Dump the ball off to Mixon. Remember, Chiefs do have, Clark and Jones to worry about on that defensive front, that they can get pressure on Burrow. And again, that O-line was great last week. Can they be great again this week? I mean, certainly they showed last week they could play well, but can you put it together 2 weeks in a row? And I'd venture to say the Chiefs pass rush is a little bit more formidable than the Bills pass rush, especially with no Von Miller for Buffalo. So I think the key is going to be for Burrow, get the ball out quickly. That's not going to change. That game plan is not going to change for Burrow. It's get the ball out quickly. That doesn't go away, even though your O-line played better than expected last week. So Joe Mixon as the safety valve outlet out of the backfield is going to be imperative, I think, for Joe Burrow today. So Joe Mixon, Cincinnati, over 21.5 receiving yards, I think is a very good prop look here in this one. And I know like 7 or 8 other people that have mentioned that prop. It's a very popular prop. I get it, but it makes all the sense in the world to me that would be worth a look. Jamar Chase, over 6.5 receptions, -130 at Pinnacle. I mean, I know he's the number 1 receiver, but the Chiefs don't have the best numbers against number 1 receivers. I don't think you overcomplicate it in a game like this. Chase is the go-to guy for the Bengals, and his targets in the playoffs are through the roof. Like, they have been going to him over and over. They're not scared to, because he's a big guy. He can win matchups with his size and his height and his hands. He can seem to win any one-on-one battle. So I think the over 6.5 receptions is very good for Jamar Chase. And on the Kansas City side, you have to lay a little juice on this, but Travis Kelce, Bet365, over 6.5 receptions, -150. I mean, I'm at the point now where I say I give up. There are weeks I say there's no way you can bet Kelce. There's no value, and every week he's getting the receptions. Every week they're looking for him, and every week he's getting just a big part of the offense and finding the end zone and all this stuff. So over 6.5 receptions. Now, he does have back issues. I know that his back's been bothering him a little bit, but I don't think that's going to hinder him all that much. I think he's still going to be able to make a big impact here in this game for the Chiefs. And then I'm going to go double up on Hayden Hurst in this game. Over 3.5 receptions for the Bengals, -155 DraftKings, and over 33.5 receiving yards, -115 for the Bengals. Hayden Hurst has been, his production's gone through the roof. He's become a big integral part of that Cincinnati passing attack over the middle. He's become a really, really good tight end for Joe Burrow in this offense. So Hurst over receptions and receiving yards. I'm on each of those in this game. I'm also going to look at Justin Watson, Kansas City, over 8.5 receiving yards, -110, because all he needs is maybe 1 or 2 catches to get over that number. And slowly but surely, you're seeing him, become someone that's being looked at more in the offense and the passing game from Mahomes. So just 8.5 receiving yards over for Justin Watson of the Kansas City Chiefs, over 8.5 at Bet365 there. And then we'll throw in a couple of touchdown props here for this game as well. Travis Kelce, +100, Jamar Chase, +110, both of those at Bet365. And we'll go down the board a little bit with Hayden Hurst, +320 at PointsBet. So there we go. As you can tell, we aren't resting on our big lead here on the NFL Pub Up Show. We're high volume with props here with both conference championship games today.
You are reminiscent of Ted Williams. That's what it is. Trying to get over 400, batting 408 in that final game, 6 for 8 in that doubleheader. Kelce +100 anytime touchdown. Chase was plus what?
Chase Plus 120. Yeah.
Plus 120?
Plus 110. Sorry. Chase is plus 110 at Bet365. Hurst plus 320 points bet, which was the best price I saw anywhere on Hayden Hurst to score a touchdown.
Hurst plus 320?
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple questions here. Now, you have props on 3 players that have been dealing with issues this week. You touched on Kelsey with the back injury. Watson is sick. Is an illness right now, but I guess you've touch on that, and then touch on your no concern on Hurst's calf injury. Can you touch on both of those, just so everybody has all the information possible? Because that's the most important thing that this show is. We want you to have all the information possible. So can you touch on those 2 issues with Watson and Hurst? And do you believe that maybe you're getting a better number because of these issues?
Well, apparently in practice he looked okay on Friday from everything I read about Hurst. So I'm gonna look at it and say that, I think he's going to be able to be. Will he be hindered slightly, perhaps? But apparently in practice he looked good. He was able to run the routes. He was able to cut pretty well, and that's always the concern, right? Cutting and turning all of a sudden when you're running your routes. He was able to do that. So I'm going to go and look. I'm going to believe he's going to be able to. I think play at least 90 to 95% effectiveness. I don't think this is one of those situations where he's like playing at 50%, 60% health. I think he's a lot better than that. And I think still, if he's 90% and he's good in practice, like Zach Taylor said after Friday, then I think he'll be good to go and he'll make an impact.
Yeah. And he's off the injury report. Yep. So he showed out Friday, and he's been saying it all week that he was going to be good to go. So I get that. And did you, with the Watson illness, did you look into that at all?
I'm looking at this. I'm just looking. I thought for sure he was going to play.
I think he's going to play for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to play. But I just wondering if you were moving because you thought maybe you got a better number because of the illness.
The only one that, Reed said he's sick. Everybody else went through it really all week. So there you go. Now, I am tempted to actually take Watson off the list of plays, but I already bet the thing. So, I'm stuck with it. I am going to look, it's 8.5. He needs 9 yards. He can get that on one catch, perhaps. If he's in there even for just a handful of snaps, all it takes is throw to him once. He can get you 9 yards. So, I am going to stick with it. It looks like he's going to play. He just said he's sick, and that was Friday. So maybe he's feeling a lot better today. You never know. It's been 2 days, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Everything that I mentioned, I'm sticking with it. Kelsey, I don't mind too, because it sounds like Kelsey's fine. The back issue, he's going to be able to play through it without too much hindrance.
I like it a lot. Shout out to Razor Sharp Picks with a $9.99 dono. Razor is going. I believe he's in the parking lot right now, or at the game right now. I mean, he is going to be at the Eagles game today. So big shout out to our Razor Sharp Picks. Thinking of us probably with a drink in hand from the parking lot. Let's review Bobano's action. Watson over 8.5 receiving yards. Hurst over 3.5 receptions and over 33.5 receiving yards, -155, -115 respectively. Kelsey over 6.5 receptions, -150. Chase over 6.5 receptions, -130. Mixon over 21.5 receiving yards, -110. Didn't Mixon look so good last week, which did throw a surprise to us. And Bobano's on the over 47.5. That is Bengals Chiefs. Now, the game that Bobano will be joining us at halftime and probably will come in with halftime looks as well. He's already on the over 44.5. Purdy over 8.5 rush yards. Total sacks over 5.5. Gainwell over 21.5 rushing receiving. And anytime touchdowns for Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Kittle. And I didn't mention that in the other game, in the night game. He's got anytime touchdowns on Kelsey, Chase, and Hurst. Razor says Eagles fans are hating me today in Philly. Tons of Eagles chants going on. Bobano, thank you for making the time for us all season long. What a job you've done on the show. 90 and 61 plus 23.1 units. It's just been great. We're a community that has to defeat the juice. We have to succeed, and it's difficult beating the VIG. And you've given us a beautiful example of how you can do that with high volume. So great work this year. Thank you for sharing your insights. Have a great day. Can't wait to see you at halftime with a beer in hand, my friend.
I can't wait either. I can't wait for both of these games. But yeah, for the second half, the best part, when we find out how it's going to conclude with the 49ers and Eagles joining everybody on the Betcast, that'll be a shit ton of fun for sure later on today, no doubt. Are we doing a Super Bowl pub hub? Do we know yet?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
I was going to say, we've done playoff shows up to this point. I assumed so. So, yeah.
If the player props are out, if they're out, we would like to do it this Thursday.
Yeah.
So we can get way ahead of everything because we know how the player props move so much. So that will be the plan for Thursday night this week coming up. But we need to know about the props being fully available.
Definitely. Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. Good stuff, everybody. Good luck today. Enjoy the games. And it's been a great season. And let's hope for 2 great games today. We'll see you later for the Betcast.
There he is, Bo Bano. We are rolling tough right now. Let's keep bringing on guest after guest and hear how they are making money in the conference finals. Your next guest will be joining me live for the whole football game between the Niners and the Eagles, alongside Brizzy, picks from Dave, and then Bobano and Sharpie joining us at the half. I love capping with your next guest. Hell of a capper and great guy. Please welcome from Houston, Texas, LJ in the house. LJ, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. Happy championship weekend to you. It's time to make some money, so let's get to work.
Let's get right to work. We've set the table. Just want to hear how you're getting paid. NFC Championship. You'll be live stream with me for the whole game. Niners, Eagles. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm getting paid a lot of different ways in this game, Jimmy. Excellent matchup right here. And for full disclosure, I also have a 49ers NFC Championship ticket in my pocket, plus 500. I did it as soon as they traded for McCaffrey because I knew he was going to be the determining factor on them succeeding to the championship. So, and he's proven that as well in the games that he's played. They haven't lost the game since he's came to that team. So, very interesting matchup. So far as the game, the side, Jimmy, I understand both defenses are excellent. Eagles have an excellent pass rush, which is actually ranked number 1 in the NFL. Dallas was number 2. Now they're going against the number 1 pass rated defense in the league. And it's all about if Brock Purdy cannot turn the ball over. He has to be patient. He has to stay within the offense because Shanahan has a quick trigger when it comes to tolerance with making mistakes. You know, that was the problem with Jimmy at times. Certain situations he would throw an interception to get a fumble. Purdy has been clean for the most part. I think he only has 2 interceptions since he's been the starter. So he's pretty clean for the most part. But the X factor to me is McCaffrey, of course. You know, he wears number 23 for a reason. He has to be the Michael Jordan for the 49ers today. Like I say, they have that winning streak since they traded for him. 6+ rushing touchdowns, plus 6+ receiving touchdowns on the season. I think he's the only person that's done that. So I expect a lot of doses of him. Now, far as the Eagles, they have to make sure that they stop the run game for the 49ers because that's where the Eagles are vulnerable to me. They've allowed 128 rushing yards in the last 6 games. The 49ers have averaged 161 rushing yards in their last 8 games. So I do believe that's the way that Shanahan is going to attack this defense. He's going to try to keep Jalen Hurts off the field because time of possession is key as well. I don't know if you know this, but the Eagles had 69 total plays last week versus Dallas. Now, they're averaging 66 on the season, but their 3 losses that they had this year, they only averaged 56 total plays. So that's going to be the key. 49ers keep the Eagles off the field, limit their plays to under 60, and they will have a chance to win this game. But, Jimmy, when it's all said and done, man, I understand Brock Purdy in the red zone as well. He's going to have a short window, so it's going to be punitive that he doesn't make mistakes when it comes to those short, because when he's on the field, you know, he has a lot to tend to, so he can rush out the pocket when the pass is coming, but he can't make mistakes. So, all in all, the Eagles, they have the best pass defense. No rookie has ever started in the Super Bowl. And also, I mentioned they have the number 1 pass rush rate, 70 sacks on the season. So that brings me to my ultimate bet, Jimmy. I have to go with the Eagles minus the 3 plus 100 is what I have right now on my book.
Yeah, I understand why the Eagles. No, I do think that there's got to be some sort of a bias because of how spectacular they looked against the Giants. But with that being said, if we look at the stats, we look at the link, Birdie on the road, Birdie's difficulties in the red zone, can Bosa and Armstead be neutralized by Johnson and I mean, there's just I get it. I absolutely get it. Let's see what we can get you, because we can still get you a nice number. I know that you bet the 3 with no vig, but we can get you a 2.5 here if you want it. Minus 2.5 at minus 114. Do you want that?
Yeah, let's take that. I got
All
the
right.
vig in my pocket, but yeah, we could take that for show purposes.
So I know you were talking about CMC. Is there any moves for you in the player prop market?
Yes, for sure, definitely. I'm on CMC. I took the over, what was it, 6 receptions, I believe. Let me get to that one, but let's go to this one first. I took Devontae Smith for the Eagles. I took his 100 plus receiving yards plus the Eagles to win at plus 281, because I do believe the Eagles will win. I do believe he will have an excellent game. I also took his over 5.5 receptions plus 100. He's hit 5 plus receptions in 14 games this year. And I just love the fact of Hurts and Devontae Smith play in college together. So they have that connection. And I do believe that connection is going to come into play today, and as well as the other game. But we're going to get to that in a minute. But those are the 2 props I like as well. But I also like this sneaky prop as well. The 49ers, also another way that they can win this game is if they commit turnovers, because they've had 2+ takeaways 9 out of their last 11 games. And they've had an interception in 5 straight. Now, Jalen Hurts, I sprinkled a little bit over a half an interception minus 106, just because he may make a mistake. And the trend that the 49ers have of turning the ball over, it could possibly hit today on one possession of him making a mistake on a drive. So I took a small sprinkle on that interception prop. But other than that, I'm on the Eagles. I'm also on the under 46 with you as well. 46.5, Jimmy. I'm on the under. I do believe it's going to be a run game. You know, I do believe the 49ers will try to run and establish, and I do believe the Eagles will try to run and establish the ball. So it just all depends on who has the ball at the end of the game and who's going to make the play. So that's my plays right there.
I love it. So let's just go over a couple things here. The under is being bet. It's being bet. The sharps are on the under in this one, and we keep seeing it drop. So there's 45s, and Bobano, who's on the other side of us, he found a 44.5 at Bet Victor. Do you want the 45.5 at minus 113, or the 45 at minus 101?
Let's do the 113. Minus 113.
Okay, so you're going to under 45.5 and minus 113. One of the things that makes it so difficult for our cappers is they only give out official picks that are available as the time they're on screen, which so unless they tweet it out. So Eagles minus 2.5 minus 114, under 45.5 minus 113. Devonta Smith 100 plus receiving yards and the Eagles win. That was plus 220.
No, that's plus 281.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my bad. 281. That's a nice score. Smith over 5.5 receptions plus 100. Hurts over a half interception at what?
Minus 106.
Minus 106. All right. In business. Oh, and did you say that you were also using CMC?
No, I'm going to scratch that one. Let's do this one. Let's do Debo over 4.5 receptions minus 112. Because I do believe that McCaffrey will be a factor, but Debo's a sneaky factor as well. And everybody knows that he can make an explosive play at any time. So I'm going to jump on him for show purposes. I do have McCaffrey in my pocket, but let's do Debo for show purposes.
This is going to be huge. Debo's going to be used nonstop, I believe, throughout this game and just used heavily. I love it. All right. Lucas Ryan says, I'm riding that under with you. Do you recommend I buy it up to 46.5? It will be a large bet for me. What's the price? And I wouldn't. I mean, I think that we're not dealing with because we are under 47. We're not really. I don't think I would. I definitely not 46.5. Maybe you could see what it is for 46, but I don't think it's that important. Now, I hope that doesn't blow up in our faces, Lucas. But I got 46, 45.5. They're not crucial numbers really at this point. So maybe some guys in the chat can also touch in on, we're a team here. So if anybody else could jump in and adding vig is never the right answer. I think, personally.
Correct.
But, we have LJ locked down for the NFC Championship game. A lot of action for LJ, and he'll be watching it all live with us. Let's move on to the AFC Championship game. Bengals Chiefs. LJ, take it away, my man.
Bengals and Chiefs. Luckily enough for us, we have a blueprint to this matchup. They played 3 straight times. Well, not straight, but they played 3 times in this matchup. And Burrow is 3-0, as we all know, versus this team. So I like how we can break it down. We can match up and get little tendencies here and there in these teams. So far as these two teams, it's going to come down to the rushing game and the red zone, Jimmy, because the Kansas City Chiefs are 31st in opponent red zone efficiency. But at the same time, the Bengals, their last 3 matchups versus Kansas City, they're only 6-14 in the red zone. They've been kicking field goals, so they haven't been able to score the ball. So I believe that the fact that Mahomes is very limited in this game, the ankle will come into play, but hopefully the adrenaline will keep him going at first in order to make some plays early in this game, because I believe Kansas City has to get the lead in this game in order to have a chance to win. Because if they get behind, I don't believe that Patrick Mahomes will have the efficiency enough to come from behind. That's where he's more heroic, having trying to come behind. But I just think the Bengals are too much of a powerhouse for him to do that. So I believe he has to come out early and jump on this team. And how he does that, he's going to have to run the ball. And the fact that they've averaged 144 rushing yards on Cincinnati the last 3 matchups is the way the game plan is going to be played today, because they can't expose Patrick Mahomes too much because he's hurt. And I believe the Bengals know that as well. So they will have a spy on him to keep him in the pocket, because he's more effective when he runs out of the pocket and make plays in disaster type, situations. So let's just stick to this, Jimmy. I took the under 48 because I believe there's going to be more field goals kicked in this game than touchdowns. And speaking of that, I'm going to take the field goal kicker for Cincinnati over 1.5 McPherson, -110, because the last 2 AFC championship games, the opposing field goal kicker has kicked 4 field goals in the game. So that's an easy prop for me. That's going to cash right there. And I'm also on Mixon. I was listening to Babano. He's on the receiving yards. I'm on the receptions. I'm going to take Mixon over 3.5 receptions plus 127. He's had 10 receptions in 2 games versus Kansas City. And the fact that he's had 200 all-purpose yards in those games as well, I believe he's going to be a big factor in this game. Like Babano just said, Burrow likes to get the ball out quick. He observes the field. He makes a decision. And I believe that Mixon is going to be a part of that decision a lot, either running the ball or passing. But he can throw screens, little dink and dunks, and they run and get yak yards is what I feel is how they're going to be effective. Because once again, they're going to have to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field in order to be successful. And that's what they've done, because they've controlled the time of possession. They've had 30-plus minutes time of possession in the 3 games that they played them. So if they could keep him on the sideline, Cincinnati is going to come out with the victory. And that's going to be my play, Jimmy. I'm going to take Cincinnati plus the 2, and I'm going to sprinkle the money line plus 115. I just believe they beat this team 3 times in a row. So Kansas City, what are they going to do differently today? The fact that Mahomes is hobbling on that ankle, that they're going to come out with this victory today. I just don't see it. It may happen. Kudos for Kansas City if they do, but I just got to go with the team that has the excellent ATS record coming into this game. I have to come into the team that has the more healthy roster in this team, and I got to go with history. So I'm on Cincinnati, and as far as my props, just to get to them, I'm on Kelsey, over 76.5 receiving yards. He's averaging 11.5 receptions, 106 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games versus the Bengals. So I believe he will be effective today. He will have a touchdown as well. I'm not surprised at that. And he had that fumble the last game. And I know that's on his mind because that possibly cost them that victory. So that's going to be dueling in his mind as well in this game. So I believe he's going to want to come out and make a statement early and be effective. I'm also on Jamar Chase as well. Everybody's on him. I'm on him too. Over 6.5 receptions. It's -150, but hey, I took the juice. He's had 7+ in like 12 straight games, and that's Jamar Chase safety net. I do believe the connection with him in college, like I went back to Hurst and Smith, that connection is going to catapult them in this game, and it's so great that we can see both of these teams end up in the Super Bowl to me as well. Both quarterbacks playing with their receivers that they played with in college. That's just a dynamic situation to me that I love. And my last prop, Jimmy, sneaky one right here. Trent Irvin for the Bengals, over 8.5 receiving yards, minus 108. He's played 10 games this season. He's only missed this prop one time. And he's averaging 16 yards per catch. So all we need is one catch for him to cash this prop. So I think that's an easy one right there. Everybody look into that one. Trent Irvin, over 8.5 receiving yards. He needs one catch to catch it. So those are my plays, Jimmy.
Wow, great breakdown. I just want to review a couple of things to make sure I have the numbers right. Bengals plus 2.5 at minus 105, available at 5 times as we speak.
Okay.
Bengals money line at plus 120, available at Pinnacle and 5 times. Under 48 at minus 107. I believe that was Heritage, but I'll have to double check. McPherson over 1.5 field goals. Now that was minus 110.
Yes.
Mixon over 3.5 receptions. That was plus 127.
Yes.
Then we have Kelsey over 67.5 receiving yards. What's the juice?
I don't have that juice. If you could find that juice for me, that's the one I don't have because I'll have to log in right quick.
Sure, I will get that for you here because Bobano did the reception. So actually, if somebody can help me right now, because we got Gokster on deck ready to go. If anyone can find the juice right now on Kelsey over 67.5 receiving yards, Chase over 6.5 receptions minus 150, and Irvin over 8.5 receiving yards at minus 110 for our guy LJ from H-Town.
Minus 114. Kelsey's over 76.5 receiving yards, minus 114.
Beautiful. Great stuff. And again, with the first game, he'll be live with us. He's on the Eagles minus 2.5, the under 45.5. Devonta Smith, 100 plus receiving yards, and the Eagles win at plus 281. Smith over 5.5 receptions and even money. Hurts over a half interception, minus 106. And Debo over 4.5 receptions at minus 112. Great work, LJ, my man. Can't wait to rock with you here in just under 2 hours. We got a big day ahead of us, my guy. Please send my love to the fam, and can't wait to rock with you in the big NFC Championship game. Great stuff. Follow LJ on Twitter at LJ. It's Sports Media, right? LJ
Yes.
Sports Media. I'm going to pop it here in the chat. He's a great guy and a selfless capper. Here, let me just pop this in the chat. Please follow our guy, LJ. Just he puts in the work, and he's a big part of our fam here. And you can hang out with him at Pabapalooza as well. There's his Twitter handle right there. Get that cash, LJ, my man. I'll see you soon, my guy.
See you soon.
All right, there he is, LJ from H-Town. We go from Houston, Texas, up to Belleville, Ontario for your next guest. And what a season he's had here on the show. 22-19 plus 3.09 units. Had a tough wild card week. But every time so far this year where he's had a negative week, he's bounced back with a big one. The last time was week 15. He went 1-4 minus 3.48 units. He came back week 18 and swept the board. So let's see more board sweepage from our next guest from Dirty Belleville. Please welcome Mr. Gokster to the show. Gokster, how are you, my friend?
Oh, doing well, Jimmy. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. NFC Championship, 49ers, Eagles at the link, baby.
Yeah, baby.
How you getting paid?
Oh, well, so this game here, guys, San Fran, Philly. Injuries, I'll go over it really quickly. I know you went over everything, Jimmy, but yeah, Mitchell looks like he's questionable, and then Thomas, cornerback for San Fran. You got a completely healthy team in Philadelphia, so get that out of the way. But the outdoor games, Jimmy, for San Francisco, they haven't played many outdoor games. They've had a lot in Atlanta, some other dome games. They played Seattle, though. That was the one game that Purdy's played, guys, on the road. It was 21-13, went under the number 42.5. And then you're looking at the last time they played a road game, Jimmy, that was outdoors. It's not going to be nearly as cold. That was at Carolina, October 9th. They won 37-15. But then at the road at Denver, they lost 11-10. And then another tough road game up at Chicago, they lost that at 19-10. That was earlier in the year, guys. But still, I think this Niner team, if this game was in San Francisco, Jimmy, I think that the home field advantage is just, I think, going to come into play here, guys. Looking at Hurts, he's been really, really good at home. He's had one loss here since October 16th, and he's had 15 touchdowns, Jimmy, and only 2 interceptions in 2, 4, 6, 7 games at home. So he's really good. He knows he just knows what to make the smart decision, I guess, is to put it easily here, guys. Only 2 interceptions. I really like to see that. Uses his legs, as we all know. But yeah, Purdy on the road, Jimmy, it's going to be a tough test because this is the best sack percentage team, number 1 in the NFL. They have a rate of 11.4%. The next closest, guys, is 8.31, and that's the Giants, Jimmy. So This is going to be a tough test, I think, for Purdy. He's not going to. They can't put a lot of pressure on him. Because the Eagles, in my opinion, they're going to be bringing the house. It's what they've done all year. So where I'm getting to this, guys, is we're looking at McCaffrey. I know he was a little banged up, but they're going to have to use McCaffrey, and they've done that on the road this year. When they were at Seattle, Jimmy, he had 26 attempts for 108 yards, and then at Las Vegas indoor game, he had 19 attempts, guys, on 121 yards. So they're definitely want to use McCaffrey on the road here, in my opinion, especially with a team that can sack the quarterback like Philly. So I'm taking McCaffrey, guys, over rush attempts. It's only 13.5. I think that number is really low. I think the game plan for San Francisco is going to be using McCaffrey here, especially without Mitchell if he's going to be questionable. So that's minus 118 now, Jimmy. It was minus 114, but minus 118 now, guys. That's the first prop play I have on the card. I'm also going to be taking San Francisco's team total under 21.5 now, Jimmy. That's the current line I found, unless anyone else in the chat can find better. 21.5 minus 110. I think it's going to be tough for San Francisco to score here. They're going to want to slow this game down. I don't see it being very high scoring either, guys. So we got a same game parlay to tie in with all this. It's going to be Philadelphia plus 3.5. If they do lose, I think it's going to be really close, but I think Philly wins this one, guys. And the under 55.5, Jimmy, that's at minus 120 now. It was 115, but minus 120 was the best number I found there.
Great breakdown, Gokster. I get it. I get everything here. I don't the McCaffrey. For me, watching the Niners in the most important games.
Yeah, it's your team.
I think Debo is going to be used as much as possible.
Yeah,
and I never know with McCaffrey legitimately how healthy he is and what he always kind of makes me nervous. Every time he gets hit, I panic and. But
he plays hard too, right? Like he hits the hole. Like he doesn't shy away from contact. So
no, he's a tough guy. No one's ever questioned that for him. No. McCaffrey over 13.5 rush attempts at minus 118. 49ers team total under 21.5 at minus 110. Eagles plus 3.5 and the under 55.5 at minus 120. Sammy Comics says, what Debo props would you target, Jim? I would not get cute. Is it going to be a rush or a cat? I would not get cute. If I was in, look, I stay away from player props, because we all have to track our action and take it very seriously as to what we're succeeding with. And so I've let those go. But I would take Debo rush in receiving prop. I would take that over. This is where he gets milked in the most important game. Now, in saying that, Shanahan has been very conservative offensively in the playoffs. And I don't know if he gets nervous. I don't know what his excuses for how conservative and cautious his offense is. We see the first 15 scripted plays in the regular season with wild stuff going on, and I'm going to lose my shit if it's really conservative here.
That's I know, and I hope they don't. But that's from what I've seen on the road. I know it's going to be a different game plan here, but the amount of pressure the San Francisco or Philly's going to bring, Jim, I think they're going to use him. But with that being said, I agree with like the little trick plays or little swing plays to Deebo Samuel. I could maybe even see him getting a touchdown if you can get a nice number on it. I don't know what the number would be, Jim, but just him getting like a screen pass. He's so good when he gets the ball. Like with him in open space is deadly. So I would lean to him maybe getting a touchdown, but I'm sticking to McCaffrey. But I agree, guys. Samuel's in the playoffs. He's their guy. So.
Yeah, and I also get nervous every time he gets hit as well. But our guy, Mr. Gokster, he's got McCaffrey over 13.5 rush attempts, minus 118. 49ers team total under 21.5, minus 110. And his same game parlays, which have been very successful this year for him, plus 3.5 and the under 55.5 and minus 120. We move on to the AFC Championship game. Bengals, Chiefs, Mr. Gokster, the floor is yours.
All righty, guys. So Bengals, Chiefs. I think this might be the Bengal era, Jim. I really do. With McCaffrey. With Mahomes banged up, I'm having a tough time seeing Kansas City putting up enough points to keep up with Cincinnati here, guys. You saw how good Cincinnati's D was against Buffalo. Now, Buffalo had a really bad game, but Cincinnati, I have some stats for you guys. Fifth opponent road. Let me slow this down. Fifth opponent red zone scoring for Cincinnati away. So they're really good at, Jim, just not allowing teams to score in the red zone. And that's a red zone scoring attempts per game. They have 3.4, which is 20th. So they do allow teams to get in the red zone, but they do a really good job of not letting them score touchdowns with being being fifth best in the NFL on the road. So I like that favor right there for Cincinnati, guys. And then looking at KC, I heard LJ talking about this. They have a really bad red zone opponent offense. I have 32nd at home. And then their turnover margin at home, Jimmy, too, is minus 0.1 compared to a plus 0.3. Not much of a difference there, but Cincinnati has the advantage turnover margins. I don't want to say it's like a destiny play here, guys, with Cincinnati, but their offense, I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I don't know how high scoring it gets, to be honest, because looking at Cincinnati, guys, they're 32nd ranked rushing yards away. They don't rush the ball at all, Jim, with Mixon. They really like to pass the ball. And KC here, they don't have a bad rushing defense as well. So in this game, guys, I'm going to get to the picks right here. I'm looking at one player prop. Let's get to the player props here because that's where I'm going. But I do agree with a KC team total under with a couple other people in the chat. But T. Higgins, I don't know if a lot of people have been talking about T. Higgins, Jimmy, but this is the time on the road. He's been really, really good this year, guys. At Buffalo, 28, 3 of 4 last game, only 28 yards. But before that, against New England, 8 of 9, 128 yards. Tampa Bay, 5 of 8, 33. Tennessee, 7 of 9, 114. And he's got a touchdown, guys, in 4 of the last 6 games on the road for this Bengal team. And he wasn't used as much for Buffalo. And I just really think Jamar Chase, we're all talking about Chase, and I had him circled at the beginning, guys, but it's obvious that's who KC's going to be really trying to lock down. And T. Higgins is a really big receiver here. I think it's going to give problems for Kansas City. I'm going 3 ways, Jimmy, on T. Higgins here. I think passing attempts is going to cash your guys. Receptions over 4.5. It's minus 115 now. I also like his over receiving yards, Jimmy. Let me slow down. It's going to be over 58.5 minus 110. And I'm also going to take T. Higgins to score a touchdown at any time in this game. Also, along with Burrow, I think he's going to score some touchdowns as well, Jim. But give me T. Higgins here to take advantage of just what he's done all year, Jimmy, on the road has been just too impressive for me. And then that game against Buffalo where he was only 3 of 4. And then I know how well Chase has been, guys. I got the numbers here. It's been 8 of 11, 8 of 13, 9 of 12, 5 of 8. He's been targeted left, right, and center, and he probably will be again. But the number I find is really high, especially the receptions. It's just pretty good. And I'm getting 4.5 at minus 115 on T. Higgins. I think that's the one we should target here. So that's where I'm looking in this game, guys.
Over 4.5 receptions, minus 115. Over 58.5 receiving yards, minus 110. And what was the anytime touchdown, Juice?
It was at plus 180 now. That's
plus
what I had. It was plus 185, but yeah, plus 180 now.
I love it. I love it, Mr. Gokster, because you are going to be joining us at halftime of this huge AFC battle. Is there anything else that you are adding? Is it just player props with Higgins on this one?
Well, I'm looking at Kansas City team total under 24.5. I see minus 120, Jim. Kind of tempted to take that, but I'm going to stay off. I'll have some second half live action, guys, when I jump on the screen with y'all. So stay tuned for that. I think I'll be on about 7:30ish there, Jim. So I'll save it for some live action.
I love it, Gokster. Excellent work, Gokster. 22-19 plus 3.09 units on this show, and his flight is booked for Pubapalooza.
Be there, baby.
Yeah, man. Already, our guy Lucas Ryan wants a piece of you in the par 3 contest. Our first ever Pub Sports Radio par 3 contest trophy engravement. Yes, all that is happening here. Great stuff, Mr. Gokster. Get that cash. Can't wait to hang out with you on the late game. Please follow Mr. Gokster on Twitter at EGO47_. Multifaceted capper who does great work. Go get that cash. Gokster, any last words for the capper sport in the show?
I'll be good, guys. Get that cash. And thanks everyone in the chat for tuning in. We'll be back. I have a golf show Monday, so tomorrow tune in for that, guys. It'll be the Pebble Beach. We just hit a winner with Max Homa, so we're looking at golf. We do it all here at Pub Sports Radio. So I'll see you soon too, Jim.
I love it. There he is, Mr. Gokster. We go from Belleville, Ontario to Atlantic City. Your next guest been getting that cash in AC all weekend, and he's making time for us while he's doing that, and I love him. And I'm back with him this Tuesday. Loshak in the bag, back in business. Please welcome from AC, our guy Pistol Pete Loshak. Pete, how are you? And thank you for making time for us.
Doing okay. I'm in the zone. I'm spending all my time researching the 0 seconds on my lighting and everything. So I hope I look good. If not, who cares? I'm going to be watching the football game in the Caesars sports book. Shout out to Caesars. A lot of fun here. Crazy place, Atlantic City, Jimmy the Bag. But yeah, I'm doing well overall. I'm having a very good weekend, and I'd be having a great weekend if I didn't dunk some of it off on some huge favorite lines that I took second half of college basketball. But we're still up. We're doing well. I was killing the Australian Open. Well, we're here to talk about football, though. What do you want to know, Jim?
I want to know, Pete, and it's great to see you with a big smile in Atlantic City. And you know how bad we all want to hang out with you in San Antonio.
I'm not smiling. Look at my face. I'm intense as hell right now. I'm not smiling. Gokster was smiling. This is not a smile.
Let's get to work, Pete. NFC Championship game pops off in 1 hour and 39 minutes. How are you getting paid from the floor of the sports book at Caesars Palace in Atlantic City?
This is and it's hold on one second. Let me just pull up my notes. Here. Hold on one second to make sure I don't miss the main points here. Hold on one second. Okay. Well, first of all, I have a futures bet on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, like 600 or something like that. I forgot what it was. So I'm definitely I would be leaning Eagles here. Oh shit! What are my notes here? Okay, here. Yeah. To God, there's so many issues here. The issues is just the Eagles are the kind of team where their offense looks awesome against subpar or average defenses. And the big question is, how are they going to do against the Niners? The Eagles didn't look that great against Dallas, but I think earlier this year, but I think they're going to be okay here. And I do like the Eagles at -2.5. The Niners defense, obviously their run defense numbers are great, but they didn't play a great schedule of rushing offenses overall on the year. And they've been very vulnerable against deep passing, and I do think that the Eagles are going to be able to exploit that. It's very scary to bet against the Niners, right, in the playoffs, right? Obviously, they've covered like 7 in a row or something like that in the playoffs. But I'm taking the Eagles here minus the points, and I think a little bit more so. I like player props. I think that guy Sweat is underrated on defense for them. I bet over 2.5 tackles and assists at 2.5. That's getting bet up, but I'd still take it at the current line at -175 or -180. And I think that more likely than not, the Eagles wide receivers are going to have a big day. The Niners, of course, their run defense is great and probably still excellent despite who they played this year. Linebackers are so good. So I would take maybe tight end under props, right? Like maybe Goddard receiving yards under like 46.5. But I think Hurts is going to have a good day. I think that the Niners cornerbacks are going to get burned. So, and I don't think they're going to run that much. And the Eagles have also been very good at adjusting their offense based on their opponent this year, right? Against good run defense, they would pass more. Against good pass defenses, they would run more. So I'm kind of liking, Hurts over pass attempts, 32.5 maybe. Miles Sanders under 50.5 rushing yards, right? And Smith and or Brown over on their receiving yards. Hurts passing yards over, and Goddard under receiving yards like 46.5, and probably AJ Brown breaks off a long reception. I'd probably take that one as well. Longest reception over 25.5 or whatever it is. So that's what I'm thinking here, Jimmy the Bag. It's very scary to bet against San Francisco, but the Phillies offensive line was great against the Giants. The Giants are no real slouch, and so I'm taking Philly. Does that answer your question, Jim? Also, since Jordan Davis returned, the Eagles are great at run defense. I think there's more positives pointing towards Philly than the Niners, and I'm on them.
I get it. And
what do you want?
Well, I have 49er futures to win the conference and win the Super Bowl, and I have Bengals futures to win the conference and win the Super Bowl. So I parlayed the Eagles and the Chiefs money line to cover and just to make sure that the worst case scenario is not so bad. And I'm on the under with confidence. The under 46. That's where I'm at. I'm on the under with confidence here. But the Eagles scared the shit out of me. They really, really do scare me. And
the only thing I'm worried about is just that the Eagles might have looked that the Eagles might be one of those teams. You see it in all sports who like dominates, the lower level teams, their offense, and even dominates like mid-range teams or slightly upper mid-range teams. But there's a big change against better teams or elite teams or near elite teams. I mean, like Hurts was sacked like 4 sacks against the Cowboys or something. Like the Cowboys defense really gave Hurts problems. So that's a concern for sure.
Yes, and we've spoken on what happens when Hurts is pressured. And
yeah, it's not good.
Not good at all. So the numbers here for Hurts, let me just pull them up. 20th in passer rating at 65.2 and 28th in completion rate, 43.9% when pressured this season. By the way, we are doing a live giveaway right now. Live giveaway from our guy Jeff Slaughter, a live giveaway right now. All you have to do is be a member and type in Pete2SA, Pete2 San Antonio, Pete2SA, and we'll be giving, if we get to 200 likes, we'll be giving out 4 $25 gifts. And MDR24, who says that his YouTube account's busted right now, and he is an active member. You'll count, MDR. We'll let you count in for this contest. We know that you're a member on your other account. So, Pete, from the player prop standpoint, are you making any of those official? The Hurts over, the Goddard under, the Sweat over 2.5 tackles? Is anything else?
Yeah, Sweat over 2.5 tackles and says definitely. Whatever. I know it's gotten bet up. That you can make official. That I think is my favorite play of the game.
Sweat over 2.5 tackles and assists at -175. AJ Brown longest reception. Goddard under and Hurts over passing attempts or passing yards. Anything gonna?
We can. I think one way or another they'll get it. Hurts passing yards over. You can give me that. Sure.
Okay. So Hurts passing yards over. Do you have that in front of you? Or
I think 250. Last time I checked was 251.5. That was a few minutes ago.
Okay. And the juice regular?
Probably not. Probably like -130 or so. I can let me see. I can if you want to eat. Oh, here we go. Wait. Let me see. Passing yards. Oh shit! It's gotten bet up. 252.5 -111.
252.5 at -111. I love it. Pete giving us 3 spots that he's attacking on this game. Eagles -2.5, -114. Sweat over 2.5 tackles, -175. Hurts pass yards over 252.5 at -111. All right, let's move on to the AFC Championship game. Bengals, Chiefs, Pistol Pete Loshak on the floor of Caesar's Palace. By the way, Rob Garvey is asking if there is a cover charge to get in. He's just 20 minutes away. Is there a cover charge to get in the sports book today?
Not to get into the sports book, but if you want to sit, yes. $10 for the cheap recliners, $30 for the big recliners, right? You know how I roll, so I'm going to drop the $30 and use a big recliner, probably, maybe not, but to actually sit in the sports book, yes.
Thank you, Pete. Okay, Bengals, Chiefs, take it away, my friend.
Dude, as hard as the Eagles game is to cap and find edges, this one is really tougher, and I'll tell you why, Jimmy the Bag. In playoffs, when it really matters, elite defensive coordinators really friggin' matter. And we know that that's what the Bengals have, right? Is he good enough to stop Mahomes? Of course. He's done it in the past, right? On the other hand, statistically, the KC offense is just awesome. Best in the NFL I have, and statistically over the years, significantly better than the Bengals. Although that comes with an asterisk, because I think the Bengals, their offense, where they have that like bad offensive line, but they make up for it with the quick passing, in my opinion, tends to have lethargic runs in the regular season, but then when it matters in the bigger games, then they really can improve, and Burrow rises to the occasion. But still, it's just Mahomes statistically is just so, no matter what you throw at him, statistically he's great. He's so good that the opposing defenses a lot of times don't even, the statistic numbers on the defenses don't even matter, because he's that elite. So you have an elite defensive coordinator going up against elite quarterback, and I don't know. In the past, the Bengals have come out on top. I actually don't think that Mahomes' mobility is going to be an issue here. I'm just assuming that it's not. But the bigger concern for me is just, so I would be thinking, the way I'm thinking is maybe Chiefs first half, and then Bengals either live or Bengals second half, if they're down. but it's just the Bengals are so good. You know what I mean? I mean, you saw what they did against the Bills, right? They shifted their defensive looks and it worked. This guy just knows how to do it. And so I haven't made a bet on this one as far as the side or total is concerned, and I probably won't. And I actually have no bets on this one. If they're probably going to use a short passing game, so maybe Kelsey over receptions. If you gave me a free play on it and right now, and I had to put a bet on a player prop, I'd probably throw it on Kelsey receptions over, right? Because Mahomes is probably going to be doing a lot of quick pass. I mean, Casey's been great, and the Bengals statistically have not been good against quick passes. Whereas KC statistically this year, again, so comes with an asterisk, but they've been great defending quick passes. KC has been, but again, Burrow and Lou on the defense as defensive coordinator are kind of on a different level. So I throw those season-long statistics out 3/4, not completely, but I throw them out 3/4. So the answer is I haven't made a bet on this game yet, and I might not, except for the only thing I'm thinking about is like KC first half and then Bengals second half or Bengals line.
Yeah,
was that satisfying to you, Jimmy the Bag?
It is. I completely understand the situation, and this show is about, we have Shogun Soup come in saying, been watching you guys for over a year now, and you inspired me to get out the Gen capping territory and start actually tracking betting units. The show has become a part of my daily routine. And he says, even the chat has guys with amazing info. This is truly about teamwork and succeeding and winning. And it's not just about giving out picks, so I completely understand it. And I respect it, Pete. So
you want me to make a pick on the game?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, if you want, this is about succeeding. And
yeah, I mean, I don't. If I had any bet on this game yet, I would give that out, and I might I almost certainly will have a bet on this game by kickoff. But as of right now, I just don't. Maybe Chiefs first half, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give. You want me to give that? I'll give that.
Okay.
I'll give that.
This is also a bet made by a young Jose One Hole Two Fingers Phuket.
Oh God! All right. I'll make it anyway. He's warming on me. I'm warming up to him.
Do you want, now this is the question I posed to Jose. Do you want the Chiefs first half plus a half with no VIG, or do you want the money line at -120? I'll see if those are both available. Yes, they are.
Yeah, money line.
Money line then is -120 at 5 dimes is by 4 cents, the best look on the board. Chiefs first half, and that was the same decision that Jose made. You got it. Chiefs first half -120, Eagles -2.5, -114, Sweat over 2.5 tackles -175, Hurts pass yards over 252.5 -111. And knowing that you've never driven a car or rode a bike, was that true?
That is true, Jimmy. Technically, I rode a bike about 10 years ago at my friend's house in Long Island. But so once, I've ridden a bike once.
You've ridden a bike once, and you don't drive a car. How did you get to Atlantic City?
Oh, there's the bus. I mean, that's the thing. New York City, it's very easy. The friggin' bus drives right up to the Caesars casino, right there. I only had to walk about 15 feet from the bus to the casino. Boom, I'm there.
Says, have you never driven a car or ride a bike? It's part of what makes Pistol Pete Loshak the most interesting man in the gambling business. Pete is at the Caesars Palace Sportsbook in Atlantic City for these big games. He's given up Chiefs first half money line, Hurts passing yards over 252.5, Sweat over 2.5 tackles, and the Eagles -2.5 and -114. And Sammy Comer takes it beyond the gambling business. He said the most interesting man alive.
I'll take it though. I'll tell you this: we think we like the Leafs first period today. I don't know if you are still following NHL today, Jimmy the Bag, but we think we like Leafs first period against the Caps.
I love it, and I love how you always mention we, and it always adds another level of mystery here.
Well, I'm referring to the betting syndicate that I'm part of.
Okay.
In my mind, in my fantasy. Can you please not burst the bubble? It's my fantasy.
And there he is, Pistol Pete Loshak, starring with I get to be back with him every Tuesday. I'm so excited. I just love working with him. What a great guy. What a great capper coming to us live from Atlantic City. Let's move on to another capper in South Jersey, not in AC though. And my goodness, has he been spectacular. First off, let's talk about his record. 40-29 on this show, plus 13.96 units. Just a hell of a capper and a class act. And he had the choice. Of course, we want him rocking with us on a live bet stream because the way he looks at the prop market, he's just a winner. And I've sat beside him when he's hit a 10-1 Dwight Powell double, $100 turned into $1,000 right beside me. And I gave him the opportunity. What game does he want? Of course, he's going to be with me. Niners, Eagles. His Eagles against my Niners. Live bet stream coming up here in an hour and 25 minutes. But right now, he's on NFL Pub Hub to give us more winners. He had the single best week of any capper on this show during the wild card week. He went 10-2 plus 9.75 units, but he'd be in the black even without that. 40-29 plus 13.96 units on the season. Please welcome South Jersey in the house, Billy Brisbane. Getting Bills. Brizzy, how are you?
Doing good, man. Excited for some football this weekend. No UFC this weekend, so I finally get to indulge into a nice football slate.
This is absolutely huge here, Brizzy. Conference championship. Our team's playing to get a chance in the Super Bowl. One of us will be all smiles, and one of us will be upset. How are you getting paid in this game, my man? Floor is yours.
Right off the bat, opening kickoff to be a touchback, minus 145. But on the Eagles side of the ball, we're looking at Devonta Smith over 65.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at BetMGM. The 49ers have struggled against wide receiver number twos, and Devonta Smith couldn't be any hotter than ever right now. He's had 8+ targets in 10 straight games, playing almost every snap, averaging 92.6 receiving yards in his past 6 games. So this number's a little bit too low. I like his anytime touchdown prop. The 49ers have given up 16 touchdowns to the wide receiver position this season, bottom 5 in passing yards to the position, including the playoffs. Smith's had 8 touchdowns, 6 over his past 10 games. He's one of our first red zone options, so I think there's a lot of value on his props today. His anytime touchdown prop was plus 195. And I also have Devonta Smith for most receiving yards in this game, plus 210 at FanDuel. And then the last Eagles prop I have is Quez Watkins, under 1.5 receptions, minus 138 at BetMGM. If there was ever a week Watkins was going to go over his receiving yard prop, it would have been last week with A.J. Brown's injury. He was a little bit banged up. And even then, he still had a season low, 27% of the snaps. It's just that Goddard's been on the field and stuff like that. They run the same route tree. And Goddard's been playing a lot better.
I love it. Let's just go over some numbers here. So I've got everything set. Opening kickoff to be a touchback. That was minus 145.
Yes, sir.
Devonta Smith over. What was the receiving yards?
65.5.
65.5. And what was the juice?
Minus 115.
Minus 115. Then anytime touchdown was plus 195.
Yep.
Then Devonta Smith for most receiving yards in the game was what?
Plus 210 FanDuel only.
Plus 210 at FanDuel. Quez Watkins under 1.5 receptions was what juice?
Minus 138.
Minus 138. Ooh-wee. Big game. I'm so nervous about this.
We still got some props to go on the 49er side of the ball, like Christian McCaffrey over 32.5 receiving yards.
Huge, sorry, Brizzy, huge news on anybody moving on CMC or Debo props. Horrible news that's just come in from our guy, Sammy Culmer. Elijah Mitchell inactive.
I mean, it's kind of better for me.
That's awful. That's just absolutely awful. It means Debo's going to be used a ton, and those rushing props are going to be hammered right now for both guys. Okay, sorry. Take it away. CMC, what was it?
32.5 receiving yards. So, I mean, I kind of like that one even more now that the Eli was out. At BetMGM, the Eagles are 24th in DVOA versus pass-catching running back. CMC might be a little bit banged up, but I'm not really worried about CMC's health for this game. He's been the security blanket for Brock Purdy, and I think the Eagles' D-line is going to get to him, so he's going to have to dump off the ball. McCaffrey's averaged 4.8 catches for 40 yards in full 49ers games. And I like Brock Purdy under 1.5 interceptions at BetMGM. Shanahan's been conscientious of protecting Purdy, and he's gone under 6 of his 8 games. And Purdy hasn't really been turnover worthy. Last 3 games, 0 turnover worthy throws on 79 attempts, which ranks out better in the league. And I don't really expect too much to change there for the 49ers.
Well, these two props give me some more comfort here. CMC over 32.5 receiving yards with what juice?
-110.
-110. Purdy under 1.5 interceptions with what juice?
No interceptions. My bad.
Under a half.
Yeah.
Ooh, under a half interception is with what juice?
+125.
Ooh, all right. And does that conclude your 49er props?
Yes, sir.
All
yes,
right. Our guy Brizzy going to be live with us for this game, and he is completely locked in. Yes, Rob, I can answer your question. Razor is on the San Francisco 49ers. You know how he works, Rob. You know how he works. Okay, opening kickoff touchback -145. Smith over 65.5 receiving yards. And any -115, anytime touchdown +195. DeMonta Smith, most receiving yards in game +210. Quez Watkins under 1.5 receptions -138. CMC over 32.5 receiving yards -110. Brock Purdy under a half interception at +125 for our Billy Brisbane. And let's now move on to the AFC Championship game. Bengals, Chiefs, Arrowhead, cold. Sharps on the Chiefs. The market keeps moving towards them. Mahomes sounding from all accounts, from whether you talk about Andy Reid or even Mahomes' dad, that he is a hundo, his dad said, which was shocking. Take it away for us, Brizzy. Bengals, Chiefs.
Yeah, on the Chiefs side of the ball, I like Travis Kelce over 77.5 receiving yards -110 at FanDuel. This line's not high enough. He's gone over this prop 10 out of 18 games this year, and he's had 78 receiving yards in 7 consecutive playoff games, averaging 12.1 targets and 108 yards per game. Bengals have allowed 7th most receiving yards to the tight end position. Last week, Dawson Knox had 5 catches on 7 targets for 65 yards. So if that's the same production, I mean, Travis Kelce's a lot better player than Dawson Knox. As I digress, next prop, Jerick McKinnon, anytime touchdown, +160 at FanDuel. With Mahomes being hurt, expect a lot more shotgun snaps for Mahomes, which is good news for McKinnon, who should get more work. Coming off a season high in snap share last week, with potential one-on-one matchups against the Bengals linebackers out the backfield, I think McKinnon has a very high shot of scoring. Before last week, he scored in 6 straight games heading into the playoffs. So McKinnon, anytime touchdown, +160. And then Pacheco under 1.5 receptions. This is the most juiced prop of the weekend, -185 at BetMGM. He's gone under 4 out of his last 5 games and under out of 7 out of his last 10 games since becoming a starter. Pacheco only played 35% of the snaps last week. With McKinnon cutting into a snap share, Pacheco's been pretty non-existent in the passing game.
Under 1.5 receptions, what was the juice on that?
-185.
-185. Pacheco under 1.5 receptions. These high juiced player props that you have been on, I believe, and I have to go, but I believe you've cashed them all. So the ones with the real high vig, I know that you might be hearing it in the chat thinking, God, that's what, Brizzy playing with that juice, but like he's been just crushing these sort of gifts where the odds are so high that they kind of don't want you to move on them. Under 1.5 receptions, -185. McKinnon anytime touchdown, +160. Kelce over 7, and it was 77.5 right now.
77.5.
Okay, because maybe our guy Bobano gave us that at 67.5. So maybe I did that wrong.
7.5 what?
Yeah.
Or 6.5 receptions.
No, he gave us Bobano gave us but maybe I wrote that down wrong. He gave us the oh, you're right. That was Kelce. Who 6.5 receptions? You're right. What am I talking about? Who gave us? Oh, it was LJ. So maybe I wrote that wrong. It's 77.5. 77.5. Okay. So 77.5 is locked down for you. Props on the other side. Are there any Bengals props for you?
Yeah, juiced on the one side, and this is where we're going to get the plus monies. Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 165 at Bet365. Burrow will need to throw the ball more than usual without the two starters on the O-line. No snow for this game. He excels in the red zone. 24 out of his 35 passing touchdowns this year have been in the red zone, and he's thrown over 2 or more passing touchdowns 11 out of 16 games so far this year. So I like the Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And then the next one, Jamar Chase over 6.5 receptions, minus 146. Chase could break some records this weekend. With 5 catches on Sunday, Chase would become the second player in NFL history with at least 5 receptions in each of his 7 career playoff games. And additionally, Chase could become the 5th player ever with at least 50 receiving yards in each of his first 7 playoff games, joining Charlie Brown, Ernie Mills, Julio Jones, and Wes Welker. So a lot on the line for Jamar Chase this weekend. So we're on his anytime touchdown plus 100 at FanDuel. Chase has had 12 or more targets in 5 of his 6 previous games. The Chiefs have allowed the second most receiving touchdowns to the wide receiver position this year. He scored in each of his last 2 playoff games for the Bengals. In week 17 last year, Chase had 11 catches for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it could be another one of those type of games for Jamar Chase. And that leads to the touchdown props. But first, Hayden Hurst over 3.5 receptions, biggest bet of the weekend, minus 155 at BetMGM. 4+ catches in 10 out of his last 15 games, going over his props 67% of his times. In the first game that they played before he got hurt, he had 3 targets on 6 routes, and KC allows the 6th most adjusted targets per game to the tight end position. So I'm on his anytime touchdown prop plus 320. He had an excellent game last week versus Buffalo, 6 targets, 5 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown. Safety blanket for Burrow, and he's been always a threat in the red zone. But the favorite touchdown prop is probably going to be Tyler Boyd here, plus 290 at FanDuel. KC's allowed the second most touchdowns to the slot wide receiver position. We attacked this spot last week with Christian Kirk, anytime touchdown, that cash on the first play of the game, or first drive of the game. He's been going under the radar, lined up exclusively in the slot. Boyd has a lot of value and find the back of the end zone this week.
It makes a ton of sense here. And I was even concerned with Kirk. Remember last week, I was like, well, McDuffie moved, to the slot. He's been so much better, but as you said, you nailed that on the very first drive. Boyd plus 290 for anytime touchdown. Hurst anytime touchdown plus 320. What was the juice on the Hayden Hurst over 3.5 receptions?
Minus 155 BetMGM.
155. Chase over 6.5 receptions, minus 146. Anytime touchdown, plus 100. And Burrow over 1.5 TD passes. Was that minus 165?
Yes, sir.
And any other additions to the Bengals player prop market?
No, sir. No, sir. It's the card for the weekend.
There, and that is a big, beautiful card from our guy, Billy Brisbane, who's been heating up. So that was the Bengals side of things, as I said, with the Chiefs. Pacheco under 1.5 receptions, minus 185. McKinnon anytime touchdown, plus 160. Kelsey over 77.5 receiving yards, minus 110. On the other side of things for the game that he will be live on stream with me, Purdy under 0.5 interception, plus 125. CMC over 32.5 receiving yards, minus 110. Quez Watkins under 1.5 receptions, minus 138. Devonta Smith, most receiving yards in the game, plus 210. Devonta Smith over 65.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Anytime touchdown, plus 195. And the opening kickoff, a touchback at minus 145, which means that the first bet will be won or lost right off the top of our show.
We're trying to cover first, Jim. Man, 15 bets on the card this weekend. We got to cover first. Man.
We go 0 to 100 real quick.
No straight game parlays either. These are all straight bets.
I love it. And speaking of going to 0 to 100 real quick, Drake has 1.1 million on the Chiefs. And I don't know if you want to be on the same side of his sports action. I love it.
50-50. They always talk about the losses, but they don't ever highlight the wins.
Well, we highlight the wins up here in Toronto. So
he had like a 5 or 6 million casher on the 2-leg parlay of like Patty Pimley.
Oh yeah,
and Molly Meatballs.
Yeah, no, that was dope. That was fun. And sending them Rolexes. We all like that side of things. Great stuff, Brizzy. I will see you in an hour and 11, less than that. I will see you in 54 minutes. We're going to pop off quarter 2 and go over Brizzy's action again. That's Niners Eagles live bet stream. In spectacular work this year, just like last year, Brizzy. Very thankful to cap with you. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for your hard work and your angles and the way you see things. Get that cash today. and our teams go head to head. Follow our guy Brizzy on Twitter at getting_Bills. We move on to last year's champion. This year in second place. My goodness. 52-32 is your next guest, plus 16.38 units. And this guy, man, it's like fine wine with this capper. Since he had the weeks 1 and 2, he struggled a bit. Since then, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks. He's had 10 winning weeks on the show, 10 of 11. And in the playoffs, so right now, he's had 7 straight shows in the black. In the playoffs, he's got some bigger prices that have come in. He's 13-10 plus 6.45 units in the wild card and the division. Let's bring him on for the conference championships. Welcome, please, from Ocala, coming to us from horse country, the big Ragu. What up, Doc?
Everything's up, man. How you guys doing today? You know what's great about this show? We get all these great cappers coming on here, young and old, new and old. You know, Brizzy. Shout out to Brizzy for dropping that knowledge on that chase look there. You know, Eddie, what's his name? Ernie Mills. He played right down the street, Denellen, Florida, Denellen High School, and went to former Gator. Got picked up by the Steelers. So that's good work by you, Brizzy. And of course, all the cappers before Loshak and you know, Babano. Babano's like that horse, man. He keeps picking up a couple extra lengths, and I'm down there trying to close in, hitting the whip on him. But anyways, good looks by all our guys, and it's a pleasure to be here. Fire in the chat, you know, great group in the chat. So let's see if we can cash more winners and keep the streak going.
My God, you've been good here. So you've cashed again on 7 straight shows in the black, 10 of your last 11. You are now up 16.38 units on the show, and a big reason why this show has succeeded. We start with the NFC Championship game. Now, our guy, Big Ragu, will be live with us on the live bet stream for the Bengals-Chiefs game, not the Niners-Eagles game. So let's hear what he has in store to get that cash. Take it away for us, the Big Ragu, joining us on Pub Sports Radio. And don't forget, if we get to 200 likes and you type in Pete2SA, Pete2SA, we want him to come to San Antonio. We will give out 4 prizes of $25 to members only. And Jose's adding MDR24 because his YouTube account got messed with, and his other account, he is a member. All right, let's get to work with the Big Ragu. How are you getting paid in the NFC Championship?
Yeah, so like I say, some guys are in the prop market, some guys are in the traditional market. I got a little bit of both, but on this particular game, I'm staying in the traditional side of things with this one because, you know, this has an old school, you know, NFL playoff type, you know, feel to it, you know, especially we know the defenses travel well in the playoffs, and both of these teams are at the top of their game defensively without question there. So, you know, I don't have any argument with your underlook, but one thing that Philadelphia has done well is played at home. They've scored points. They haven't played San Francisco every week, but they played Dallas. You know, Dallas is a pretty good football team. And, you know, what Dallas did last week with the Niners, you know, they held the Niners to 19 points, you know, and when they played Philadelphia, you know, they beat them earlier in the year, but the last time they played up in Lincoln, you know, they were able to put 26 up on Dallas. So I think they're hanging like a 23.5 on the Eagles here with this particular spot. I see that. I think whoever gets to 24 points is going to win this game, and I think the Eagles are probably going to be the team that gets to 24 in this particular. I do kind of lean under with your under. You know, I could see like a 23 to 24 20 type finish here. You know, keeping it under and keeping, you know, within a 4-point margin. But I think Philadelphia, you know, with the offense that they have, and there's going to be some defensive pieces, you know, in the chess match here. I like the Eagles to come away, you know, with this. I like the team total 23.5 over for Philadelphia is going to be my first official play in this particular spot here. And also something interesting, I was looking up on DraftKings. You know, you can get a double result. You can bet the first half, a tie. You know, the only bet that they hadn't put up, all the combinations of, you know, who's leading the first half, tie to win the game, was Eagles in the first half and Eagles win game. So that was a telling sign to me. So I'm going to be on the Eagles in the first half -1.5 also there.
Yeah, that is a telling sign, which I don't like hearing. Let's grab you that Eagles first half here. Do you want -0.5 at -105 available right now at Pinnacle?
-0.5. Oh yeah, put me on that one.
All right, Eagles
put me on
first
that.
half -0.5 at -105, and he's on the Eagles team total over 23.5 available at -108 right now at Pinnacle. Are those your two looks for the NFC Championship, or do we have player?
No, I got a couple more.
Beautiful.
I'm going to be heavily vested in the Eagles here. I just think the way the game is going to play out, it's going to be close all the way down the stretch. But this has a possibility to be a blowout, believe it or not. As well as Philadelphia's played, as spectacular as the 49ers have been playing, these are the type of games where you kind of think something's going to happen and kind of go off the rails. All Purdy has to do is basically take care of the football and not make the big mistakes. And we all keep talking about Purdy and how great he's been doing, and this could be that game. I'm not saying it is going to be that game, but this could be the one, and then go the other way too. Hurts looked fantastic against the Giants. Probably a benefit for the 49er, backers here. Probably get a little bit more value on the number with that game against the Giants. But this could be that game. We keep waiting, but it's Purdy's game to lose. I'll put it that way. So. And it's also Philadelphia's game to lose if you want to look at it that way too. But he's just been spectacular in what he's done, and everybody keeps waiting for that spot. Could this be the spot? I don't know. It might not be, but I think the Eagles will come out on top. Now I see you got a 3 hanging on the screen, so I've found a couple 2.5s at -120. What have you got on the game? Full game.
Full game. There are 3s. Are almost all gone, but they're still here. We have a 3 for the Eagles. If you want the 3 there, you get the 3 even money.
Yeah. What about 2.5?
2.5, we can get you down to -115.
115. I'll take that.
It's available right now at Pinnacle, and that is sort of market wide. So bookmaker bet Chris at -118, Heritage -118, 5 Dimes at -115. Yeah. So Eagles, this scares the shit out of me. -2.5, -115. Eagles. Not
one more.
I wanted to hear.
I'm gonna use an alternate number in this game, because just in case this game does get out of hand and it does bounce the Eagles' ways, I'm gonna be on the Eagles -4 at +120, and that's per DraftKings.
Okay, sorry, can you hit me with that one again?
Yeah, Eagles -4 +120. So if it lands on 3, which would have been a push the normal way, I kind of balance the books out that way. I still cover the 2.5, and I lose on the 4. So, but I could double down and cash both if they get let's say it gets above 4.
Eagles -4. We can get you that +134 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, that's even better.
All right, let's get you +1.
I'll take the sharper number, obviously.
Eagles -4 at +134. Oh, God. Do not like this at all. Don't like this at all, Doc. Is that are you doing any moves in the player prop market?
No, not on that game.
Not on that game. Keeping it simple. Eagles team total over 23.5 -108. Eagles first half -0.5 -105. Eagles full game -2.5 -115. Eagles -4 at +134. This just in, we are now giving out a prize to non-members too. So if we get to 200 likes, there will be one prize for non-members who write in Pete to SA, Pete number 2 and SA, Pete to San Antonio. There'll be one prize for the non-members and 3 prizes for the members. There is our wheel of glory right there. Our Jeff Slaughter cash wheel. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board, AFC Championship game. The big Ragu will be with us, live betting the game for its entirety. Bengals, Chiefs, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I can't wait to rock with you. How are you getting paid pre-flop?
Yeah, well, this spot's real interesting. Also, I mean, these are 2 spectacular games, coin flip type games in my book. Either way they can go, no matter how you slice it. I want to say they're great games to tease because, like I say, I think one of these games might go off the rails, but I might have a little teaser look at the very end here. But I'm going to start out in the player prop market to get going here. So, like everybody knows that that Higgins has been spectacular on the road to Gogie's point. And we know that Chase is, he's been spectacular too. At home more so, but I think Higgins is the guy on the road. I really do. I really like that look on the anytime touchdown with him. But I think if you like Higgins and you like Chase and you like what Cincinnati's been doing, we know about the 3-0 stuff. We know that they've been spectacular they've owned up against Kansas City. Burrowhead, whatever you want to call it. Burrowhead Stadium. So be that as it may, like you say, you don't want to throw any fuel on the fire to get the Chiefs ready to rock and roll. But I think if anything's going to be in play here, and if Cincinnati's going to have success, which I think they will score points in this game, I kind of lean towards the over a little bit too. But I'm not worried about Mahomes whether he's going to contribute because he's going to do his part, and Kansas City will figure out a way. But Anarumo's had this team ready to play for this game going down the stretch. I think this has been like a radar game. And they've been kind of sliding in a lot of different ways. So they've been discounted. So now it's their time to shine, I think. So I do like Cincinnati in this particular spot. But get back to the player prop. I think anytime touchdown for Higgins and the Bengals win is at a plus 400 number. So I like that a lot. And I also I'm going to tie in Chase with that at a plus 255. Anytime touchdown Chase and the Bengals win at 255. This way, if one of them scores a touchdown and the Bengals win, I still make a profit either way. I cover my bet. I make, half a unit profit if, let's say, Chase gets the only touchdown and Higgins doesn't. But then if they both get a touchdown, I hit a home run at like plus 6.5 units. So I'm gonna roll with that prop on those two receivers. Anytime touchdown Higgins, Bengals win. Anytime Chase touchdowns, Bengals win. Plus 255 on Chase, plus 400 on Higgins.
Interesting way of handling things, setting yourself up for a huge score if you are right. And we'll be watching that together. Any other action here for Bengals Chiefs?
Yeah, and for me, it's all about the Joes in this particular spot, right? We're talking about Joe Burrow, our guy Joe Burrow. He's the guy. And I think, he's going to have a monster game today. I think I like him to get the over 278 yards passing in this spot. He's averaged his QBR against this team for his career has been 121. His last two games has been 138, 982 yards with 8 touchdowns. So for me, it's all about the Joes. We're talking about Joe Shiesty. We're talking about self-explanatory Joe, extraordinary Joe. We're talking about Joe Cool. And we're talking about Joe fucking winning. Joe fucking winning cool. That's our guy, Joe Burrow. He gets the job done today. So I'm going to be on his props, 278.5 over the total.
Over 278.5 passing yards. What's the juice with that one?
That one was minus 115.
Minus 115. Well, this is much more like it. I love all of this here for my Bengals action, and great work, Jose, with those pictures. That was dope. Anything else for you here in the AFC Championship?
And then I'm going to be on the Bengals on the money line also to win the game outright.
Bengals money line, putting yourself in a situation where you can catch Bobano. Let's give you the Bengals money line action right now. Bengals money line is at plus 122, available at Pinnacle as we speak. Oh, this is wildly exciting. It's going to make our night so much fun.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a blast.
Oh, I love it.
It wouldn't be an appearance on your show without a teaser, right? So
of course.
I usually don't do this. I don't tease usually this way. I'm kind of breaking my own rule, but I figure, you know what? It's championship week. Let's try something a little different here. So I usually don't tease totals, but I'm going to tease the over in the Kansas City game. I think it's sitting at what, 40? What'd you say, 47.5? So the 6 points, they give me what, 41.5. So it gets underneath that key number, 42.
Yep.
And 40, then, and I usually don't like taking favorites and making them plus money teams, but since I'm heavily vested in Philly, I might as well go all the way out with them and get them at a plus 3.5.
Yes, and then you'll get the Eagles. No, you'll get Eagles plus 4.5.
Plus 4.5.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Plus 4.5, 6-point teaser. You got it. And your teasers, I mean, I talked about how bad they were, not you in particular, but as a group, the teasers were so unsuccessful last year. You certainly have led the way in the teasers cashing nonstop this year. Your teasers have been spectacular. Cincinnati, KC over 41.5, and the Eagles plus 4.5. Bengals plus 122. Burrow over 278.5, passing yards minus 115. Chase touchdown and Bengals win plus 255. Higgins touchdown and Bengals win plus 400. That will be the game that our guy, the big Ragu, will be live with us. Then in the first game that pops off here in 55 minutes and our live stream popping off in 40 minutes, Eagles team total over 23.5 minus 108. Eagles first half minus a half minus 105. Eagles full game minus 2.5 minus 115. Eagles minus 4 at plus 134. Oh, I love it, Ragu. I love it. Anything else for us or any last words?
Let's cash these tickets, guys, and then we'll see you in the live stream for the next game. But I'll be watching you guys. I'll probably be in the chat, giving some looks. But one thing I'm going to really be excited about our game is, especially if Cincinnati gets behind in that game, I'll be all over the Bengals, some plus money spots.
Wait, sorry. What was that, Ragu?
No, I said if we get behind in the Cincinnati game early, KC goes up, we'll be on the Eagles. I keep saying the Eagles. I got Eagles on my brain. We'll be on the Bengals at some plus money spots early on in that game. But we'll see you at the live stream.
I love it. I love hanging with you, Ragu. I love capping with you. You elevate all of us by just rolling with us at Pub Sports Radio. Ragu, all over the 2 NFC championship games. All right, let's move on. We go from the big Ragu in Ocala, Florida. We head westward to San Diego, California. And your next guest, who's counting down the days to the baseball season after one of the most spectacular performances we have seen, maybe the most spectacular performance we've seen at Pub Sports Radio in our history. Watching your next guest with his strikeout props and the big black book that he has created, days away from the MLB season, but he's done a hell of a job here with us in NFL. He was the host of Pub Zone, and he's the host of The Good, the Bad, and the Money alongside Billy Brisbane and Big Show Picks. Please welcome to the show. He will be joining us at halftime in each of our games. Sharpie's Bets in the house. Sharpie, how are you, my guy?
Man, I'm a little upset he didn't say Camel Joe as I'm down here choking down a 3-pack of cigarettes as I'm watching him. So offended, to say the least. We will talk about that at halftime, Mr. Ragu, and I see you.
Sharpie, you gave us a Boston Scott touchdown.
Thank God.
400 last week. How are you getting paid in game 1, Niners, Eagles?
Yeah, let's get straight to it. I don't have a bet sider total in this game. I really think it's a first half over, and I think it's a second half smash spot to the under. So if I see the game going the way I think it is, I'm going to jump on that second half under, and I think I'm going to get a better line at it. So let's get into my first thing that I did bet earlier in the week. Both teams combined sacks over 5.5. I got it at plus 110 on Thursday. Now it's at minus 105. The Eagles over the last 5 weeks have averaged 4.8 sacks a game. Brock Purdy has played versus 4 top 10 pass defenses in his 8 games starting, which also happened to be his 4 worst games, with none of those games with a QBR higher than 60. While getting sacked 13 times in those games, a average of 3.25 sacks a game. The Eagles are the number 1 pass D in the league, and that's just one side of the ball. Now we get into the 49ers, who over the last 3 weeks is averaging 2 sacks a game, and over the years, plurally, has been really good versus rushing quarterback. So just on these two teams' averages over the last 4 weeks, we're seeing 7 sacks a game, not taking in how Purdy plays versus top 10 Ds and how the 49ers have kept running quarterbacks in check. To me, we can get 5 sacks by any team. So fuck which team who does the dirty work and give me 6. Please and thank you. For those that do have price picks, they have the Eagles team sacks at 2.5. It's at 3.5 at plus money on the books, guys. There's super value over there, and I smacked it on a 2 pick on price picks for those that do have it. Then I got one more bet in this game. It's kind of like a double bet, though. Ready? So
I am
shoot
ready.
it.
I can't wait. I just wanted to touch on the prize picks. We do have our promo code Pub Sports, and imagine getting the 2.5 sacks on the Eagles, who dominated from their front pass rush. We've gone over the stats throughout this show already, but 70 sacks this year. Absolutely amazing that you can get the 2.5 there. Take it away for us. What's your next spot on the board, my man?
Now, speaking of stats, how are we 38 likes away with 300 live in here, and the boss man's offering free freaking money just for a like button to be smashed? Jimmy does this shit week in, day out, call it whatever you want. He's fucking there. He breaks down the fucking games. He brings you guys to bring you fucking money, and they ask for a like button to be hit. So smash the damn like button, and let's get into Dallas fucking Goedert. I'm on his first half touchdown at plus 350. Like I said, I think there's going to be points in the first half. And I'm on the first Eagles touchdown at plus 600. Last week, I did hit him at plus 1100 for first touchdown of the game. I'm going to cut it in half and take first Eagles touchdown of the game, like I just said, at plus 6, and take his first half TD at plus 350. I've attacked the 49ers since last year with any tight end that will see 6 or more targets, and that's what we get here with Goedert. Last week versus the 49ers, I hit Schultz with the first TD of the game, and Goedert has scored a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games played with Hurts as quarterback. He's a big body mismatch, and Hurts will look for him in the red zone. Then I had to get on the Bovada special, guys, because if you know me, you know I search specials. I get all fucking baked, and I'll go through them all, and I'll find the ones that make fucking sense. Bovada right now on a plus 300. A.J. Brown to have 75 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. I'm on it. When I watch these 49ers games, I think I may have watched every fucking one of them this year being on the West Coast. They have a problem with big body wide receivers, and that's what this man is. I mean, he's not Metcalf, but he's built in the same mold. Taking in what I've seen versus the 49ers, and when I look up games where the Eagles have played versus a top 5 rush defense and a bottom 12 pass defense, like these 49ers are, they have played 2 games in those spots. A.J. Brown is averaging 7 catches, 138 yards, 2.5 touchdowns. Those were his fucking averages, guys. So if you're into ladders, that's the guy to ladder, in my opinion, today.
I love that look. Over 75 receiving yards and a TD. That was plus 175?
Plus 300.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, my bad.
On Bovada specials, baby.
Oh, yeah, you said that. My bad. Plus 300 for that look. I love it. Goddard first half touchdown plus 350. Goddard first Eagles touchdown plus 600, and the over 5.5 sacks or minus 105. Again, that was available at Big Plus Monies. If you watch the good, the bad, and the money every Friday, which is a great show. I love your action here, and Sharpie will be coming on at halftime, giving us more looks and more action. Take it away. Anything else here for the NFC Championship, or do we move on to the AFC?
How'd you say plus monies? But yeah, that's it on this game.
Oh, I love it. Yes, giant plus monies here for you in the NFC Championship.
Trying to get back in.
Oh, Sharpie, you're so much fun to cap with, my man. Okay, AFC Championship game here. Bengals, Chiefs. Another spot where Sharpie will be joining us here at halftime. Take it away for us. How you getting the Skrilla?
Man, I like joining at halftime because I get to listen with the volume on, and you can pick up key things with the volume on that when you're on stream, guys, and you're not listening, you miss key people getting hurt. You miss that type of shit. And if you can't game script a fucking game when they're giving you the score at half, you probably shouldn't be fucking betting it. So let's get into the pre-bets. Chiefs team total rush yards over 102.5 at minus 115. Can anyone tell me who leads the NFL in most consecutive playoff games with 100+ rush yards? Well, just in case you can't put 2 and 2 together, it's the fucking Chiefs, guys. 8 straight games from Kansas City in the playoffs with 100+ rush yards. And now I know Patty Magic is hurt, and it may end up fucking me here, but I can't ignore 8 straight games. Just can't.
That was team total rush yards over, what was it, 102.5?
102.5.
And what was the juice?
Minus 115.
Minus 115. Very interesting look, because if there's certain game scripts where in the second half it could be a lot of Pacheco, it could be a lot of running between the hash marks, and now they have a running back to do that. There's
Even
a lot
if they're behind that, they're gonna do draw plays to McKinnon.
Yeah.
Now,
no, you're
the
absolutely right.
issue is I'm probably losing 20 yards on fucking Mahomes. I'm not taking that in. You can't with him injured. You can't expect him to run. But I will take in one tight end getting a handoff and 2 jet sweeps. Like, there's going to be random fucking play calling. Like, it's just, that's what the Chiefs do.
I get it. Rush yards over 102.5 minus 115. All right, let's keep rolling. What
I
else for
got
you?
one more bet in this game, and that's it. It's another Bovada special. It's minus 110, and Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce, 150 combined receiving yards with 1 touchdown. I'm sure you were already told by a bunch of these people on here what wide receivers do to the Chiefs. If not, just know they've hit at over 80% on the year if you're just playing what the books give you. I truly see 100 yards from both. So to me, this was a smash spot to bet their combined. They had Kelce yards at 79.5, and that's his average if you go through his last 6 games. In the famous words of Coach Mora, playoffs? Yeah, guys, we're in the fucking playoffs, guys. We're over the last 7 playoff games since 2022. Kelce's averaging 10 catches, 103 yards, and a little over 1 touchdown a game. So I'm just betting the man's playoff average at a nice spot where I'm adding in a guy who I could see another 100 yards plus. So in the one game that they did play, if you want to go through it and be like, oh, Kelce only had 4 for 57. That was the one game this year where he was targeted 6 times. In every other game, he's been targeted 7 times or more. And like I said, in the playoffs, his targets go up to 12.2 targets per game. Like I said, I could see 100 yards each. So I smashed this like I smashed me a BBW last night.
I love it. This is a great find. It's on Bovada. Chase and Kelce combining over 100.
Oh, don't know time. Choo-choo, motherfuckers.
There's our guy. Our guy, WT, says, Tarina, Leche girls send their love. I miss them all. Please slap them all in the ass for me. WT. Chase and Kelce over 150 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. And WT, thank you so much for the dono. We love you, man. Great friend of the channel here. WT in the house. So Chase, Kelce over 150 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, and Chiefs team total rush yards over 102.5 at minus 115. That is tied into his NFC championship action over 5.5 sacks minus 105. Goddard first half touchdown plus 350. Goddard first Eagles touchdown plus 600. AJ Brown over 75 receiving yards and a touchdown at plus 300. Sharpie, we got a huge day today, and I can't wait to share it with you, my friend. He'll be joining us at halftime at both of our live bet streams. Thank you for taking the time to share your action with us. An excellent job on the good, the bad, and the money. And can't wait to rock with you tonight, my guy. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
I am going to give you free money before the game fucking starts, guys. Go play Bam, Abba, whatever the fuck his name is. Abba Dabba Zoo, Abba Zabba, whatever, bro. He's going against the worst saltine in the history of centers. Take advantage of Plumlee and get you some points, rebounds, assists, and cash it by the 4th quarter, okay? Take advantage of it, okay? He's an old, dried-up saltine. Not good. Have a blessed day.
There he is. Follow him on Twitter at Sharpies Bets. At Sharpies Bets. Bam, abba, dabba, do. Right there. All right. We have one final guest here. CMAC will be joining us here shortly, headlining our show here on Championship Week, coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. And there he is. Migda Mac Daddy, closing off our Championship Pub Hub. Also, don't forget, if we get to 200 likes and you type in Pete 2SA to San Antonio, we will be giving 4 $25 prizes at the end of the show. 1 to non-members, 3 to members. All you have to write is you have to hit the like button. We get 200 likes and write Pete 2SA. And our man CMAC will be rocking with us for the live bet stream for the entirety of Bengals Chiefs. Not only that, but he's coming off a very strong divisional round show. He went 9-7 here at plus 3.2 units. And he is here rocking with us. First off, how are you, C-Mac?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, as always. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Come on. These guys don't like some money? The Sharpie just was here. His plus money. I can't do his low. I leave that to him. Anyways, get to the 200. Come on now. There we go. There we go. God damn. Don't want free money.
I love it. It is great. I can't wait to hear your looks. Now, I'm going to be rocking with you live for Cincinnati, Kansas City. But let's start with the NFC Championship game. 41 minutes away in our live bet stream, 26 minutes away. Take it away for us here. Niners, Eagles at the Link.
You know what? I lean to this under. I'm staying off the side and the total. I think this game could be close. I see both sides you can get on it, and I might get on something live here. Eagles look so healthy, but this team played, the softest schedule I've seen in a while. But they took care of business. That's all that matters. Purdy's got this crazy streak coming in, just winning. So I'm going to hit the props in this one. This was one I took on Wednesday. I did a couple shows. I just thought first quarter field goal, which I think there could be a feeling out. It was only -110 over a half. I'm on it. So field goal, first quarter over a half. Usually I don't do these unless it's one of these standalone games, kind of like a championship or Super Bowl, but I'm on it. I think we get a field goal early in the first quarter, and that was only -110. I'm on it. Let's hit the 49er side. I got to go to a safety blanket here, Kittle. I think he just has a little connection working with him. I didn't love the 3.5. I think you could take it if you like that juice. I don't want it. I just took the 45.5 because I think if he gets 4 or 5, he gets that. I got that at -110. And let's go to Debo here. I'm not going to mess around with anything, but you're going to tell me this guy could get 5 to 7 rushes. I believe his yards were 21.5. His receiving yards were 50, but his anytime touchdown +190. He could get it down there and score either way. Give me that +190, Debo, for an anytime touchdown. Let's flip it. I heard this from the guys earlier. Hurts. I think they got to throw it too. I don't think they really can run it here. I took the over 32.5 attempts throwing it, -115. I think he's got to throw it on this 49er secondary, which is their problem in this one. And last, A.J. Brown. It's one of the two, and he's so big. I think it works, but I took Smith here. I took over 65.5. I think they get him on a big play, receiving yards, -110. And I got his anytime touchdown. Either guy's good, but I saw 200 with him. I want it. So Devonta Smith, anytime touchdown, +200. And that is it in this one.
Firing shots. CMAC
oh, yeah, I ain't sitting around, man.
CMAC
Come on.
hot. First quarter field goal over a half at -110. Kittle over 45.5 receiving. I can't even say his name without thinking of Bobano. Here, Kittle. Over 45.5 receiving yards, -110. Debo Samuel, anytime touchdown, +190. Hurts over 32.5 pass attempts, -115. Devonta Smith over 65.5 receiving yards, -110. And anytime touchdown at +200. Great work, CMAC. That's the NFC Championship game. Now let's move on to the AFC Championship game, where you will see our guy CMAC rolling right with us. And what a crew we have for that game, by the way. We have CMAC, Big Ragu, and Spenny Penny Bombs for the full game. Joining us at halftime, Mr. Gogster and Sharpie. Take it away, CMAC. How are you getting paid in the AFC Championship?
Come on, we're 11 away. I'm going to rip through this quickly. We're not going to hang around here all fucking day. Jimmy, we're at 189. Let's get to this 200 here, fellas. Pacheco. He was off the last couple weeks, his rush attempts. But all year long, once he became the guy, kind of like he's going to get the rock, it was that first Jaguars game, 16, 15, 22, 14, 13, 18, 14. Last week, 12 would get over this. I'm on his attempts. I don't mind his rush yards, but I'm on his attempts. Over 11.5, I got -115. I think you got to keep the ball out of Burrow's hands, and I think he gets over 11.5 attempts here. Easy tonight.
Over 11.5. Rush attempts at -115. Yep. That makes sense. What else you on?
Yeah, let's do one more. I got to roll Kelsey here, and I don't want a 6.5. I don't mind it. One thing with him, seems when I take Kelsey, this guy's catching 10 passes. So give me I got a 7.5, bumped it up, +115. He's dealing with the back, big time player, big time game. I want it here. I think he gets 8 today. I think he had 10 for 95 last time they met. I want it. And also, give me his over 76.5 yards. I took this earlier in the week, -110. I want him here today.
Over 76.5 receiving yards, -110. Over 7.5 receptions. Was that +115?
Yes, the 7.5 was 115. Yeah, the 6.5 was like -150.
No, that's smart. I think that makes a ton of sense because that's just a ton of vig that we've had cappers talk about liking that spot, but I like what you've done there. Over 11.5 rush attempts for Pacheco. So those are the 3 spots that you are attacking pre-flop in Bengals.
Yes, and let me hit the Bengals real quick.
Oh,
we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Chase, I got to take it. Yeah, I didn't take his touchdown enough, Jimmy, and I'm getting plus 110. I got a couple of days ago, best number. They're still out there. I think you get 110 plus 105. I think he scores. You got to go to him. I'm not going to take his receptions. I'm just going to take his yards, 82.5. Big time player, big time game. There's been guys on here that I think are on this. I got to be on him. But the last prop I'm on is P. Ryan. I want his over 2.5 catches. It's coming down. It's minus 110. I just got it. You know, a lot of love on Mixon. He had the catches all last week, and I think he's the guy with the better hands. I saw Mixon drop that one in the Ravens game. I don't think he needs to be out on the field on third downs. I want him 2.5 minus 110. You can look at his yards. I'm not going to take it. He probably gets it if he gets 3 or 4. It's 17.5. I'm going to stay off. And lastly, Jimmy, for this one, we better be at 200 in just a minute. Give me the Bengals money line plus 120. I got to take Burrow again. I could see the Chiefs win, but I don't want to. Just give me a money line plus 120.
I'm relieved to hear both you and Ragu rocking the Bengals plus 122 available right now.
Beautiful. I'll take that.
Pinnacle plus 122. Ooh-wee. CMAC's going to be locked and loaded for both these games. So let's review CMAC's action. First quarter field goal over a half. So 1 field goal in the first quarter of Niners Eagles minus 110. Kittle over 45.5 receiving yards minus 110. Debo Samuel anytime touchdown plus 190. Jalen Hurts over 32.5 pass attempts minus 115. Devonta Smith over 65.5 receiving yards minus 110. Anytime touchdown plus 200. King Al asked me if I'm on the Niners. I have futures on the Niners, so I don't need to do anything now. I've gone plus 750 to win the conference, plus 1,500 to win Super Bowl from the beginning of the year. So I got a lot of stake. I got the same deal sort of with the Bengals, almost exactly the same. I got plus 400 and plus 750, but I bet twice as much on the Bengals. So I got very similar spots. But
what's the Bengals number you got?
I got 400 for the conference and 750 for the Super Bowl, which was worse than I would have got before the Bills game. I could have got better lines before the Bills game, which was just pretty wild. So I did moneyline parlay, of course, the Chiefs and the Eagles to cover everything. So everything's fine, but it could be glorious. It's either fine or glorious. And so let's lock down this stuff from CMAC. Remember, if we get to 200 likes, we're at 198, 200 likes, and you type in Pete2SA, we will be giving out 4 $25 gifts from our man Jeff Slaughter. 1 for non-members, 3 for members. We are sitting with 198 likes. We are 2 likes away.
Don't like the money, man. Come on now. There's got to be a couple fucking people out here. Hit the fucking like button.
Pacheco.
Right there.
Oh, we did it. We did it. Over 200. We had 201 likes. I love it. Great stuff.
Bingo.
CMAC is on Pacheco over 11.5 rush attempts minus 115. Travis Kelce over 7.5 receptions at plus 115 and over 76.5 receiving yards minus 110. Chase anytime touchdown plus 110. Over 82.5 receiving yards minus 110. Samaji P. Ryan over 2.5 receptions minus 110. Bengals plus 122. Great stuff, CMAC. I can't wait to spend the evening making money with you in the AFC Championship game. A huge game. So much at stake.
You're either going to be pretty happy or a little bit down after this Eagles game.
Yeah.
A lot of boozing. Either way, I love it. A lot of happy booze or sad booze coming our way. Second game, baby. I'll be there. Chiefs, Bengals. Let's go.
There he is. Follow him. He speaks the truth, man. Follow him at Connor Mac Picks. All right, we are going to do a review of all action, but first, it is time to see who is getting paid $25 gifts from our Jeff Slaughter here. So, Jose joining me here. Jose, my friend, are we starting with the members or the non-members?
We're starting with the members because we like them more.
Okay, that's fair. We are giving out 3 prizes here. Let me get this bigger so I can see all of this. All right, 3 prizes here of $25. Take it away, my friend. Number 1.
Beautiful. And by the way, no more names. The end. It is over. If you didn't get your name in, you didn't put your thing in, No mas. Phila right there is the last person. Congratulations, Phila. You are the last person in there for the contest as well. So let's spin the wheel.
Oh, the Jeff Slaughter Wheel of Glory.
Members D-Rock. Oh, no! Bad Cat Ninja. Oh my gosh, D-Rock.
That was tough, man. That was Heartbreak Hotel. Shit, man. D-Rock, my man. I apologize. Just fucking snipe.
Woo. God damn, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. All right, so there's winner number 1 right there. Shout out to Fat Cat. Let's move on to number 2 here. Spin the wheel.
Oh, that's Jeff Slaughter Wheel of Glory.
Ooh, saturated.
Oh no! And it happens again. Smoke and mirror saturated. It's always saturated too. It's always saturated. Getting ganked in the last minute. It's all saturated. I feel terrible for you, but congratulations, Smoke and Mirrors. Saturated.
Smoke and mirrors. All right. Tough one there. Let's reset.
All right.
Let's reset, everyone. Let's everyone. Congratulations to our nice winners. I'm gonna give it a shuffle because this is our last members only. Shuffle. Take a second to try to find where you are on the board. And we spin. The third winner of our $25 giveaway.
Oh, Leonard Forrest got snaked. That was the worst one. That was tough, man. Gank, snake. But our guy Lucas Ryan gets that Leonard Forrest Jr. shafted. Oh God.
That was a tough one. I'll admit that was a tough one. All right. Now this is the mega wheel.
Phyllis says his wheel's ruthless.
This wheel does not give a fuck. I'll tell you that. The wheel is just, though. The wheel is always just. Now I'll add all of the names on there, all non-members as well. Look at this wheel.
Oh, man.
Shuffle. Oh, man. This wheel is a big one. The biggest wheel we've ever had. Oh, my gosh. And
wheel don't lie.
Wheel doesn't lie. Twate latte does not lie. This is my real hair as well. And the last $25 spin. Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
Go, Ron!
Ron play. Congratulations. $25 richer. I love it. Great stuff.
And
how do they receive their glory?
Right there, my man. I'm sorry he couldn't come through for you there.
How do they receive their cash, Jose?
DM Pub Sports Radio on Twitter. DM Pub Sports Radio on Twitter. We'll hook it up from there.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. There is our guy, Jose Bouquet. All right. We have the live stream popping off in 13 minutes. I got to see how fast I can eat a sandwich. So need some food in the belly for all of the drinking. What's that? Of course, Captain Morgan. Whatever it takes for a 49ers victory.
Isn't it Captain Morgan and Kraken kind of contradictory?
Yes, there was a deal, like a sale. They put the Kraken on for some sort of a deal, some sort of a sale, and they were all bought at the liquor store. I was very, very angry.
Damn it, they knew.
But I do when I can't get the Kraken, I just move to Captain Morgan Spiced. All right.
By the way, officially official. I'm gonna set up the appointment. Tattoos officially set. Nasty Nate and I out for content. We're gonna do tattoos of Pubapalooza. You coming?
Not for a tattoo, man. When are you coming? Come on, man.
Oh, you want to come just for some moral support?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll film and laugh hysterically and smoke blunts.
Okay. All right. That's all I need.
Absolutely. Especially, yeah, of course. All right, let's review all action here. Jose, 1 hole, 2 fingers, lamb chop, sweet tea tits.
Can I add one more play?
Yes, of course.
Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. I like that as well. I think he runs. I mean, this is obvious. I think he runs one in. I just think, if we're going to run the ball all day on this 49ers defense, I think Hurts scores.
And what is the number you're getting?
Let me double check for you. I believe it's 120, but I don't want to give out your stale lines. But yes, shout out to Pubapalooza again. And I saw Nasty Nate in the comments. I didn't hear what he said, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Oh, minus 110. Oh, I mean, that's on Bovada. That's horrifying, but I'll still take it. Minus 110 for Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown.
You got it. Millsy's biggest bet of the day is Devonta Smith over 5.5 receptions. Kristen said, "Who the hell drinks Kraken?" You're looking at the man. Little gasoline. I never hurt nobody. Never hurt nobody. All right, Jose, stay with me for this closer here. Great job today. Great job producing as always, my friend. Jose's on the over 45 in Niners Eagles. Hurts anytime touchdown at minus 110. Jose is on the Chiefs first half minus 120. Then we have Bobano over 44.5 in Niners Eagles. Purdy over 8.5 rush yards. Total sacks over 5.5, and Gainwell over 21.5 rushing and receiving. And anytime touchdowns are Hurts, AJ Brown, and George Kittle. Then he's on the over 47.5 in Cincinnati, Kansas City. So he's on overs in both of the games. I'm on unders. He's on Mixon over 21.5 receiving yards. Chase over 6.5 receptions, Kelsey over 6.5 receptions, Hurst over 3.5 receptions and over 33.5 receiving yards, and Watson over 8.5 receiving yards. LJ's on the Eagles minus 2.5. He's on the under 45.5. Devonta Smith 100 plus receiving yards, and Eagles win at plus 281. Devonta Smith over 5.5 receptions at plus 100. Hurts over a half interception minus 106. Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions at minus 112. I got a Biggie Smalls shirt, and I know I don't talk about luck, but a lot of good things have happened to me in this Biggie Smalls shirt, so I'm gonna be rocking it.
Oh, look at you! Yeah. Who the fuck is this guy?
I'm putting it all on.
It's a coincidence. Some good things have happened. No luck, just some good things.
Good things have happened to me in this shirt, so I'm gonna be rocking Biggie, my guy, the GOAT.
And by the way, a new worker said he's not gonna be in San Antonio, going to be in Florida for Blue Jay spring training. New worker, I might see you there, Nuke. I might see you there. Who knows?
I love it. Yeah, I know enough. So I don't believe in luck or any of that shit. But
exactly, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Good things happen to me in this shirt. I'm gonna rock the shirt. I can feel the Captain Morgan creeping in already. I can feel him whispering in my ear.
Yeah, he's calling you now. He's already
whispering in my ear. So then for LJ. Smith again over 5.5 receptions with the Smith receptions, and the Eagles win 100 plus receiving yards, and Eagles win. Hurts over half interception, Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. Then he's on Bengals plus 2.5 and Bengals money line. He's on the under 48. He's on McPherson over 1.5 field goals, Mixon over 3.5 receptions, Kelsey over 77.5 receiving yards, Chase over 6.5 receptions, and Irvin over 8.5 receiving yards. There's DJ Hunter Grant in the house. Miss working with you, DJ Hunter Grant. Respect. He's on the Eagles and the under. Harold Williams says Pac is a GOAT. Look, there's no wrong answer when it's the Pac Biggie debate. I'm a Biggie guy. You're a Pac guy. There's no wrong answer. For Gokster, McCaffrey over 13.5 rush attempts. 49ers team total under 21.5. Eagles plus 3.5 and under 55.5. And he's on Higgins. Big. He's on Higgins over 4.5 receptions, over 58.5 yards, and anytime touchdown plus 180. Pistol Pete Loshak gave us Eagles minus 2.5, Sweat over 2.5 tackles, and Hurts pass yards over 252.5, and the Chiefs first half minus 120. For Brizzy, opening kickoff touchback. We're going to know if he's a winner right off the hop. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to bet that on the Super Bowl, too. It's a good job, Brizzy. Shout out to him.
I'm not going to bet it. Devonta Smith over 65.5 receiving yards, anytime touchdown plus 195. Devonta Smith most receiving yards in the game plus 210. Quez Watkins under 1.5 receptions at minus 138. CMC over 32.5 receiving yards minus 110. Purdy under a half interception plus 125. Then he's on Kelsey over 77.5 receiving yards. McKinnon anytime touchdown plus 160. Pacheco under 1.5 receptions. Burrow over 1.5 TDs. Chase over 6.5 receptions and anytime touchdown. Hurst over 3.5 receptions, anytime touchdown, and anytime touchdown. Boyd at plus 290. The big Ragu, Eagles. For the Ragu, team total over 23.5, first half minus half, full game minus 2.5, Eagles minus 4. Then in the late game where he'll be joining us, Bengals anytime touchdown, Higgins anytime touchdown and the Bengals plus 400, Chase anytime touchdown and the Bengals plus 255, Burrow over 278.5 passing yards, minus 115. Bengals plus 122 in his teaser, which have been rolling nicely. Cincinnati, KC over 41.5, and the Eagles plus 4.5. Sharpie gave us the over 5.5 sacks too. Bobano and Sharpie on the over 5.5 sacks. Goddard first half touchdown plus 350, and Goddard first Eagles TD at plus 600. AJ Brown over 75.5 receiving yards and a TD at plus 300. He's on the Chiefs team total rush yards over 102.5, and Chase and Kelsey over 150 receiving and 1 touchdown. That's combined. That's available. Bovada minus 110. CMAC just gave us the first quarter field goal over a half, minus 110. Kittle over 45.5 receiving yards. Samuel anytime touchdown plus 190. Hurts over 32.5 passing attempts. Devonta Smith over 65.5 receiving yards, anytime touchdown. Then he gave us Pacheco over 11.5 rush attempts. Kelsey over 7.5 receptions at plus 115. He took the 7.5 instead of the 6.5 to get the plus monies. The plus monies. Over 76.5 receiving yards, minus 110. Chase anytime touchdown, plus 110. Over 82.5 receiving yards, minus 110. P. Ryan over 2.5 receptions, minus 110. Bengals at plus 122. Nutflush Allen says get Brown over 85 and Kittle over 60 at plus 350 at Bet Online. That is our show. Our live stream pops off in 6 minutes. Thought there might be a bit of a break. That's fine. That's fine. Jose, my friend, as always, accountable, doing all the hard work and making everybody else look good. Thank you for all that you do as a producer. Phyllis says, look, go eat a sandwich. It's all about to start. Just fucking, God damn it. Please.
He's calling you. He's calling you.
Please. Okay, I'm going to go put on my Biggie shirt, eat a sandwich, get a 49ers hat on. We're going to get that fucking money. Jose, can you please leche us into the future? But before you do, we have nothing without you guys. You guys make this show special. Paper Chaser, the Imp, Catch Caleb. Great to see Catch Caleb back there. JoJo, Rich, Saturated, Craig Wood, Phila, Markel, Nut Flush, Banana Boat Float, Nunya, Gerald Jones, Ken Mizrahi, Harold Williams, DJ 100 Gram, Boogie Main, Gerald Jones, MDR, Lee Davis, the Nuke Worker, P4P Boxing, Real News, all you guys, Untouchable J, Millsy, Nasty Nate. I wish I could shout you all out. Leonard Porsche, Bo Jackson, because you all deserve it. We have nothing without you. AOD, King Al, Vipe, Fireside, Joe Ortner, JSG, Osby, Coin. Let's go get that fucking money. Jose, can you leche us into the future? I got a quick change.
Okay, of course. It'll be quick. Leche, guys. Let's fucking go. We fucking need it. Jimmy, I hope I win my bets, and I hope your parlay cashes. Leche!
No, I don't want my parlay to cash.